problem that we are going to discuss in a bit. And then I'm going to walk you through the GitHub platform, which is basically the platform that we are going to use for collaboration purposes, because this is going to be a group project where you will require to collaborate with your teammates. So how do you collaborate, especially when you are coding, right, is something that I'll walk you through as well in today's session, right? So with that, let me introduce you to Keynet. So essentially, Keynet is the capstone company that you are going to work with, right? So it's a tech company that runs a B2B e-commerce platform. All right. So so this company was founded in 2021, and it's basically a group of FMCG industry specialists and AI specialists who have this specialty app, which is the Keynet Retailer app. So this particular app is a B2B e-commerce platform whereby the retailers, the shops, FMCG shops, can place their order, right? And then there are distributors as well who uses this channel to promptly communicate about product launches, about new updates on the product, etc. So essentially, this platform is where the distributors sell their product and these FMCG retailers or the shops buy the products, the FMCG products. All right, so that's the e-commerce app that Keynet runs. All right, now with that, some of the problems that Keynet is trying to solve at the moment is that Keynet wants to focus and understand the customer segments and behavior of its customers. All right, so Keynet is trying to understand who my customers are, what kind of trend and pattern they have, what kind of behavior they have, etc. So Keynet wants to focus on segmentation of its customers. And again, who these customers are shops, the retailers who are buying the products on that application. All right. So it wants to segment the shops by reordering behavior. That includes how frequently these shops are buying, right? What amount they are buying, what volume they are buying, and how volatile their behavior is, meaning that sometimes there can be a very frequent purchase of certain shop, and sometimes, the gap between the purchases is very long, right? So they are probably used to purchase quite frequently, and suddenly like there is a drop in their purchase pattern, right? So how are you able to then segment these shops based on their purchase behavior of frequency, volume, as well as volatility? All right. So that's one problem that they want to solve. And to solve this problem, they want to leverage on the data. Now, the data that they have and the data that you will be given is transaction data. So based on the transaction history of the shops, you have to come up with metrics. Then you have to perform this segmentation on the metrics that you come up with. Now, what are these metrics? Frequency of purchase, volume of purchase, volatility of shops, etc. Obviously, you need to prepare the data, which we will talk about in a bit. All right. The second problem statement that they have is they want to measure the customer churn, right? They want to identify if there are patterns whereby I can see that some of the shops are silently not purchasing anymore, right? Silently disengaging. Then how can I help Keynet to build a soft churn prediction model to identify those shops who are likely to reduce their engagement, so that Keynet can have proper retention strategy in place and be able to retain these shops as well beforehand, before even they have completely stopped buying. All right, so that's the second thing that you need to work on. And the third one is to compare behavioral patterns of shops, right? Because the customers for Keynet are the shops, right? So compare the behavioral pattern of the shops between apps. So there are two apps that Keynet runs. All right. Now these two apps are identical. There is no user interface difference between the apps. There are two apps that Keynet have, and you have to compare the behavioral patterns of the shops when they are using app 1 versus app 2. And in order to do this, you have to come up with a Power BI dashboard to showcase this behavioral patterns between the app users. All right, so I'm going to take a pause over here. Any questions from anyone?
Hi, Gauri. Good morning.
Yeah, good.
Can you uh, let me know again about the customer at that point, the second point, to identify the shops?
Yeah. So this is where you have to identify the shops that are going to have silent disengagement, right? So example, again, some shop has been very frequently purchasing, right? Maybe their purchase is, the purchase frequency is like every 2 weeks, okay? So 14 days of gap. And then you realize that probably in the past 6 months, they have not been purchasing every 2 weeks. Perhaps their purchase frequency has declined to probably 5 weeks, right? So there is a decline in their engagement that you are able to see, right? So that's what you need to highlight. That's what you need to identify. Are there disengagement from the shops that are happening? If so, then what are and how we can retain them? Yeah. All right. Great. Okay, so these are the three problem statements that you have to work on. All right. So first is the customer segmentation, which is the shop in this case. Second is the churn identification and as well as like obviously providing them retention strategy, etc., which we are going to talk about in a bit. But second problem statement is to predict churn, to build a predictive model for prediction of churn. And the third one is a Power BI dashboard whereby you will showcase the app behavior of app 1 versus app 2 based on how the shops are purchasing through these apps. All right, so that's the third problem statement. Okay. All right. So submission wise, right, what you need to submit. You are expected to have three things, right? First is the Power BI dashboard for the app behavior comparison. Second is the Jupyter notebooks, right? So you will be working on Python, on segmentation, as well as the churn prediction. So you will have your Jupyter notebooks. So that's the second thing that you need to like have. And the third one is a client-friendly PowerPoint presentation, because ultimately at the end of the day, you will be presenting your findings to the client, to Keynet, and also the trainers who are going to be the panelists as well, right? So you will be scored on what your findings are, how well you are able to explain the problem, how well you are able to explain the solution, etc., etc. Right? So Power BI dashboard, your Jupyter notebooks for segmentation and churn prediction, as well as the PowerPoint presentation, which is going to be converted to a PDF for submission. But while you are presenting, it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation, PPT. All right. Now for the second part over here, right, for the Jupyter notebooks, because we are going to use the collaboration platform GitHub, whenever you are working on this GitHub, right, the Jupyter notebooks that you are creating within this platform, you don't need to explicitly submit anything. It's going to be auto submitted, whereby the trainers will have access to your Jupyter notebooks. All right, so this one is going to be in GitHub, so you don't need to explicitly submit anything. So for submission, you just need to focus on your Power BI dashboard as well as the PDF, the presentation. All right. Now for this one over here, right? Now let's say you want to explore your data. Now the data set that will be given to us is very huge. Definitely it will be difficult for you to do anything in Excel or even directly like plug the data to Power BI unless you perform some sort of group by, etc., which I will like let you know. And also the trainers who will be there will guide you as to how you have to perform your group by, etc., in order to make sure that you are able to reduce the number of rows as well, aggregate the data, and then put the data in Power BI dashboard. Okay, now if you try to like link your raw data, it's going to be pretty slow, right? So then coming to the second point, if at all you need to explore something, perform a quick, churn prediction, you want to build a very quick model in Orange, that is acceptable. You can do so, but submission wise, we will still expect you to submit a Jupyter notebook. Like you can play around, you can quickly check the metrics as to which model is working good, etc., in Orange data mining platform. If you are comfortable, like that's absolutely fine. But ultimately, when you decide that, okay, logistic regression perhaps is the best model that I'm going to use, try to put that into a Jupyter notebook, and that becomes your final like deliverable as well. All right. So you can experiment using Orange, but then when it comes to the actual submission, use Jupyter notebook. All right. Guys, give me a while. I think Shong will be joining in a bit. I need to just quickly share the link with him. Rachel, do you mind sharing the Zoom link with me once so that I can just forward it to him?
Yeah, I'll put it in your Zoom chat now.
Thank you. Don't put it in the Zoom chat. You just WhatsApp me.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that now.
Okay. Now the data set that is given to you, I believe that everybody has access to this by now. The data set that is given to you is the KeyNet transaction data. All right, KeyNet transaction data. And you will see that you do not have too many columns in this data set. Okay, I mean, you just have a few columns, the usual transaction information like the date of transaction, the shop code, then the product code, the total amount of sales that has happened, like what a shop has purchased and what amount they have purchased, and then the units of item they have purchased, so total units sold, and then the order, whether the order was placed using app 1 or app 2. So this is the data set that you have, and the range of the data, right? The range of the data is, or the period of the data is from January 2023 until September 2024. So you have a big data set, as in you have too many rows in the data, but then column wise, it's pretty like compact, small. But definitely from the problem statement you have understood, right? Because you have to segment the shops based on the frequency of purchase, volume of purchase, volatility, etc. You need to definitely perform feature engineering over here. You need to definitely prepare your data. You need to create new columns in order to capture those information, because the raw format of the data doesn't really capture those information, right? Because it's a daily transaction data that you have. Okay, just give me a bit. Okay, where do you get the KeyNet transaction data? If you don't have it already, Rachel will be sharing it with you, but it is there in the downloadable materials itself. All right, it's there in the downloadable materials. Now, because the data set is from January 2023 until September 2024, right? you will have a huge data set, right, with too many rows. Try not to plug this entire raw data to Power BI or to like start exploring the data in Excel because it's going to be pretty slow. Okay.
Sorry, Gary, can I just clarify your last point? So don't upload all the data. Did I hear that correctly?
No, not all the data. Do not upload the raw data. Yeah, the
Got
raw data, that is the daily transaction data. Probably you need to perform an aggregation of the data. For example, if you want to perform a shop analysis, right? So how frequently your shops are purchasing, for example, right? Or how the trend of purchase been looking like for the shops, right? You probably need to aggregate your data at the shop level. Yeah, and then you connect. Right? So
Gauri, maybe
yeah,
you can ask a question since we're waiting.
yeah.
Since the data is only until 2024 September,
Mm,
what are we assuming today's date is when we do this project? Are we assuming it's 2026 and we have to um,
mm,
try to understand the state of affairs of everything or the situation or what happened in 2024 to 2026 is about 1.5 years. And
mm.
then so in our recommendations or in our findings, we have to take those into account. Like for example, there's a war going on now. So we have to say that in the last 1.5 years, Donald Trump took over the office, blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff. Or are we assuming that today is like 1st January 2025 kind of thing. So we don't care what is happening in the current state of affairs.
Yeah,
Over.
I mean, it's not that you are taking 2025 as your current state. Like, yeah, I understand that you are having the data, but usually when we build the model on historical data, right? Now, external factors, you don't have to consider so much about the external factors. Yes, but when you are preparing the model, if when you are identifying the trends and patterns, if there is something that has happened during this period, like 2023 to 2024, due to which there is a dip sometime, right? That can be explained. But otherwise, what is going on currently, I don't think that is going to be so. I mean, you don't need to worry so much about your strategies that you are going to define for that. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to. So if we don't need to take into account means we are assuming that like we don't need to care what's the state of affairs in 2026 now, lah,
That's
right?
right.
From 2025 to 2026, we don't have to
You don't
care
have
about what's happening around the world or what's happening around or what is I hope I pronounced the company name correct,
yeah,
Keynet or something like that, right?
yeah,
Or what has happened in this 1.5 years in the company. Like they have come up with new strategies, new ideas. We ignore that altogether. Am I right?
yeah, yes.
Okay, understand.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we do have Mr. Xiong with us. I'll stop the screen share over here. So Xiong is the CEO of the company Keynet, right? So I will pass the time over to him when he's ready to like do the sharing, and then I will take it from there. But then in the meantime, if you guys have any questions also after his briefing is done, then feel free to ask those questions as well. All right. Hi, Xiong, I'll pass the time over to you. And yeah, you can just unmute yourself as well.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So sorry for being late today. So let me just jump straight in. First, let me share my screen. Okay, here it is. Share. Okay, are you looking at my screen already?
Yes, we can see your screen. Maybe you want to do a full screen. Yeah,
Yeah, is it a full screen now?
yeah, all good.
Oh, good. Full screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. Okay. Okay, good morning. Okay, so quick introduction of Keynet. Okay, so we are a company that we help businesses to connect with right technology and solutions. We're powered by a team of domain experts and specialists. So at the very core, we are FMCG company. We are very good in handling chaos, granular data, And so our solutions are all very grounded, right? And recently we also received our data protection trust mark, uh, okay, the certificate 764475, right? And we are powering businesses in three strategic area. One is in B2B e-commerce, where we are talking about today. We call it KeyNet Retailer app. And we're also working on business intelligence. And the last one and the more important one is that AI automation, okay, helping companies to streamline workflow and operations and execution. So we are also working very hard on our AI agent, agentic AI tools, which will launch in a month time. All right. So today we are talking about the KeyNet Retailer app, or QRA for short. Right. So this is essentially this is a B2B e-commerce app. Okay. It is a very straightforward app. It help our distributor to uh, to engage with their retailers, and the retailers they can place orders, access to promotions, and also monitor their payment, their invoices, and make e-payment. So if you like to, you can scan the QR code that will take you to the YouTube videos of this app. Yeah. Okay, because this app requires approved retailers log on, so you can't log on to the app. But from the YouTube videos, you will be able to understand the app much better. Okay. Maybe I give you just 5 to 10 seconds to scan the QR code onto your phone first, so you can access to the YouTube videos. Okay, Gori, I continue.
Yes, please continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so on this app, okay, there are many promotions ongoing, right? Every month we have 3 to 4 promotions. So just last time we just finished our Chinese New Year promotions, and this month we are running our Ramadan promotions. So promotion come in many shapes and form. We have a redemption program, instant prizes, lucky draw, rebates, okay, all this to entice the retailers to buy, okay. And the coverage in Singapore is island-wide, okay. All right, and retailers are very engaged, okay, and they are telling us why, okay, because the app is very easy to use. That's by design, right? And it's very convenient and very straightforward. So you can see all the shops here, they are all very happy. You know, the feedback is that is one of the easiest app they have ever used, right? Okay, so how it works behind the engine, okay, we first of all, the app is driven by AI analytics and buying metrics, and prices are customized by channel, and we sometimes we even customize the pricing to the shop level, depending on what our principal tell us, right? And it is fully integrated into the ERP system, from order fulfillment to delivery, right? So retailers can also log on to the app to track their delivery updates, and they can also look at their statement of accounts, make e-payments. They can also download electronic copies of their invoices and credit notes. And at the back, okay, so we have Diane, our AI assistant, who um, is a very intelligent chatbot that retailers can make inquiry, get answers, and also connect back to the staff, as in connect to the operation managers, to the sales managers, right? Okay, so Diane is our AI assistant, and Diane connects the whole company, from the CEO management team to providing sales guidance, to customer support that's in the KeyNet Retailer app, and supporting automation workflow. Okay. Now, so now we sorry, this is a wave, this part-time wave one, right? Right. So,
This is
okay,
full-time wave, Sean.
oh, full-time wave
Four. Yeah.
full-time wave four. Okay, great, great. Okay, so, now, the problem statements and solutions, okay, Gauri and the team, I think have already covered it, okay? So now, what is my goal here in terms of, now, I would like to, better understand and optimize customer reordering behavior to identify the reordering cycles, patterns, uh, and segment customer by behavior and value, right? To measure growth, retention, and churn. And what I like to achieve is that to improve consistency and predictability of reorders, and therefore to enable smarter logistics and resource planning, right? So the BCG trainers will have final say on the scope and delivery, right? So these five above here, these are my uh, wish list on the outcome of your analysis and presentation. Okay. Now, important note that, okay, in the data you see app 1 and app 2, they are exactly the same app. One app is used by the shop independently, and the other one involves salesman assistant, right? So neither one is going to replace one another, right? So both apps are being used at the same time. So one is used more by the shop, the other used by the sales rep, right? So basically, okay, those involved sales reps are typically the bigger customers. Now, so what we want to do is that uh for app 2, we want to identify okay, so hold on. Okay, so when it comes to identifying reorder cycles and patterns, segment customer by behavior and value, and measure growth, retention, and churn, this you can analyze app 1 and app 2 separately, okay? Because those the group of customers that place order independently, and those group of customers that depend on the sales team, their behavior, they are different. All right. Uh, but when it comes to the business as a whole, right? When it comes to, say, when we want to improve consistency and predictability of reorders, and also to help to enable smarter logistic and resource planning, you can combine app 1 and app 2 data together and analyze by shop. Okay. All right. I suppose there'll be some question on this part later. All right. So the do and don'ts is that, okay, this is not an advertising pitch. So you can briefly suggest a few promotion tactics, but there's no need to elaborate. So for example, you say, okay, we should do some promotion to recruit new customers, or we should do some promotion to retain existing customer. That's good enough. Uh, you need not go into detail to say, oh, we should do a 20% discount. We should do a lucky draw. No need to go there. Don't waste your time. All right. Uh, this is also not a funding or acquisition pitch. Okay, so there's no necessity to cover equity investment or valuation. All right. Uh, and if you see that if the data is skewed towards a few customer, think creatively, because that's very normal for FMCG business. There are always a few or group of customers dominating bulk of the sales, right? Uh, Now, some of you may have experience in FMCG or distribution. You can help your team members with early interpretation. Okay, but do not be too caught up. Okay, do not let it become a constraint, right? Because at the end of the day, this capstone project is not about FMCG distribution. It's more about you showcasing your new mastery of AI and analytics tools. All right, is to showcase your new skills. So explain your observation, thought process, insights, relevance, and and how applicable your solution would be. Okay. Now, our observation so far, each wave continue to raise the bar in analytics and quality of presentation. Is been getting better and better each time. All right. And all of you are supported by sharp, experienced, and committed trainers. All right. And from observation, your key challenges are, coordinating with new teammates. Uh, most of you only have met each other online, not in person. And you have formed a team of 6 to 8. So it takes a lot of love and patience to arrange to meet up, agreeing, aligning, and allocating tasks. You have a 12-minute presentation. It's very challenging, right? Because you have a very limited time for each team and for each presenter. So stay focused. There's no time to waste, right? You can strategically save some of the technical details for the Q&A section, because the Q&A section time slot belongs to you. So make good use of that as well. Now, when you come to the presentation, try to agree on a single and simple presentation template. Consistency will help to improve the flow of your presentation, which is critical for a short and rapid fire presentation. You are presenting highly technical knowledge to a wide audience from diverse background. You have to assume that I do not understand some of the uh, you know tools, the AI tools, and you have to explain to me why I should use these tools to run my business, right? At the same time, you have your trainer will be challenging you on the data, the accuracy of your data, why you choose certain models over the other, right? Now, be selective on your agenda topics and solutions. You have to balance breadth with depth and be deliberate about which AI tools and analytical skills you choose to focus on. Avoid directly using ChatGPT outputs without proper scrutiny before presentation. Again, your trainers, they are tough, all right? They will challenge your your thoughts and your stats. Okay, so that's all for me. Right, I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Shang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please take this opportunity to ask any questions that you have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can raise your hand. Thank you so much, Victor. You can go first, and rest of you, if you have any questions, please raise your hand.
Hey, morning, Sean. Thanks for sharing
Hi.
the deck. Hi. So you mentioned assume an audience, right? Like yourself. May I know, besides you, who else can we assume will be in next Friday's presentation?
Only myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Lavina, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Just wondering if you give us a little bit more context and color around you mentioned this is a B2B driven model.
Yeah.
Can you contextualize it with, for example, who are the main customers and what type of products? Just for us to get a little bit of an essence of what we're dealing with here. And you kind of mentioned a little bit about the two apps. One that was for the shops independently, at least the shop owners. And then
Yeah.
you mentioned the other one is for salesperson assistants. Are these the salesperson within the same shops? So can you just help break that down for us for a little bit of
Okay.
clarity?
Sure. Okay. Thanks for your question. I think that they're good, important question. So okay, in terms of the customers, these are mostly small shops, right? Small independent retailer shops, mostly grocery stores, and shops selling beauty products. Right? So these are the customers here, are retailers, right? Retailers, small shops, right? And the products we are talking about, the fast-moving consumer goods products, involve products like Unilever products, your Dove shampoo, Sunsilk shampoo, sorry, Dove shower, Sunsilk shampoo. It also have Nestle products, Colgate, all your usual, your personal care and grocery products, right? And in terms of the two apps, okay, mentioned that okay, it's the same app. So if you go to the YouTube videos, you can have an understanding of how the app look like, okay, how the UI look like. Now, when I mentioned salespeople, these are salesperson engaged by the distributor servicing the retailers, right? So in the past, all these shops are serviced by salesperson. A salesperson has to cover 10 to 20 shops per day to take orders from the shops. But right now, bulk of the shops are uh, placing orders on their own. Okay, so the salesperson that I mentioned, they are not salesperson within the shop. They are salesperson from the distributor, servicing the outlets. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lavina,
maybe.
is that, yeah.
Yes, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Thanks, Lavina. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Chan, right?
Hi.
Oh, should we call him Mr. Chan? Yeah, can I? Okay. Also maybe um not exactly directly relevant to the Score project, but we just want to interestingly just to if you could share um why does the company want to do this by the app? Was it like to because I assume that the traditional way of people doing this is like they go to the distributors or website and then they order from there or something like that, or there is some form of doing it via the desktop basically, right?
Hmm.
So is it that Kinet wants to focus more on like more on the go environments, or is are they trying to do something? And maybe you could share a bit of what is the what's the actually um customers which in case your B2B customers sort of feedback so far about doing this by the app rather than by the desktop. Over. Thanks.
Oh, by the desktop. Okay, see, so first of all, this has to be like a mobile first solution. So most of this shop majority they do not use desktop day to day. And okay, we got to also mimic the way they work. So imagine, okay, this shops, okay, even small shops or even those in the supermarkets, they have to move around the store environment, look at the shelves, and then they place order, right? So it has so the solution has to be on mobile, right? And there are many apps out there. There are many app reordering apps out there. But the key thing is that how easy is it, for the shop to use? That's the key thing. When we first met the shop, okay, when we developed the app, the key, most of them say, no, 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 all these shop owners, they are 60, 70 years old, and they say, no, 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 I don't want another app, right? So we ask them what do they want. So and the answers are, okay, I want to have a big text, big picture. I want to do it in just a few steps. I don't want to key in so much things. So that's how we develop for them, right? And this is on the retail side. Okay, so it has to be so simple, so easy for them. Then only we succeeded in getting them to use it repeatedly. Now from the distribution business point of view is that manpower is a issue, right? Most of the sales reps or sales executives are all quite old, in their 50 or even 60s. uh, they they cannot be running 20 to cover 20 shops a day. So this app helps to complement them. They can receive orders from their shops independently, right? So it has cut the help the sales team to be more effective. Productivity has increased by at least 60%, meaning to say now we require less salesperson to cover more stores, and the stores are able to place their order more effectively. The salesperson, because now they need not run 20 outlets per day, they can now focus on the key customers. They can spend more time with the key customers. So overall, is improving sales resource productivity. At the same time, then enable them to channel more time to important customers. Yeah.
Mr. Chan, I have a
Thanks.
question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that apps 1 and apps 2 are exactly the same.
Yes.
So I just want to understand a bit more. What is essentially they are saying, in order to maintain it, right?
Yeah.
Is that intentional, or is some strategy or technical or business reason that you maintain the two?
Okay. Okay. I think next time maybe I shouldn't call it app one and app two. I think there's a little bit of confusion. Okay. Okay. Thanks for asking this question again, because okay, app one and app two, they're exactly the same application. It's just the what is actually differentiating between customers who order independently and customers requiring a salesperson to assist them. Yeah. So okay, we designed the app in such a way that whether the customers and the salesperson, they're looking at the same interface.
Sorry, can I
Yeah,
assume that
yeah. So
the
I think it's more maybe I shouldn't call it app one and app two. It's more like usage majority by the shop and usage majority by a salesperson.
sorry, can I assume that
Yeah,
the app has got the salesperson's name in there, I
yeah,
suppose?
yeah,
How you
yeah,
differentiate?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hi. Sorry,
Hi.
how do you ask? Finish already?
No, actually, I got a few more questions.
Yeah,
So,
Hong Cho. Yeah,
yeah, hi, Mr. Chan. Just want to understand in terms of growth, are you looking at, because some products are packaging, right? Are
yeah.
you I don't know how we capture that in the quantity. I suppose one packet may have
Mm.
a few, let's say a brush, maybe packet in two or threes. We will probably count it as one. But are you looking in terms of quantity growth for each customers or sales amount growth? That's one. And also, are you looking at new customers as well? How are we growing new customers every month? So this kind of growth.
Okay. So now, back to back to the capstone project. Okay, so you are looking at more um how you segment the customers, all right? Which tool you are using to segment the customers. Uh, your presentation is about you have 3 to 4 AI tools. So which one you choose, why you choose, right? That's that one. And second one part, I think Gloria has mentioned to you to measure churn, right? Then on my part, I'm looking more at consistency and how predictable those orders are. All right. More, I would say, okay, in short, is the am I able to forecast a pattern of ordering? Now, back to your question is that growth. Okay, in this segment, I must say that, okay, honestly, okay, it is very difficult to grow, right? Because actually the market is very challenged. The market is very fragmented. Only time we see growth is not because of consumer demand. It's actually more of a CDC voucher. So when government issues CDC voucher, you see, local sales shooting up. And after that, when the CDC voucher effect is gone, then everything comes down again, right? Everybody just go back to JB and buy, right? So the real side of the business is that this is a business sector that is quite difficult to grow. So it's more about managing resources, okay, improving productivity, enabling the business to continue to run, even at a declining rate, but we have to find ways So in this sector, okay, the business is actually gradually declining, right? So the way for the business to sustain is to find to lower the cost faster than the gradual decline in sales. Yeah, so that's the
Understand.
reality of the business.
Right. Thank you. Understand.
Yeah.
So I assume that you have a certain turnaround time, the agreement with your clients when they make the order through the apps. And I'm not sure what is your back end in terms of deliveries. Because you're looking at, for example, if you predict that next month I'm going to have so much volumes, you probably say I will probably engage. I don't know whether you outsource your deliveries or you have your own delivery crew. Um, I suppose that's one of your costs that you're looking at, right?
Yes. So one of the key that's why I mentioned about looking at how do I improve it. So every day, for example, there are many trucks going out there to deliver. Now, so the delivery will cover by different zone in Singapore, big and small trucks. Some trucks deliver larger orders, like one whole truck. Some truck will have to deliver to 20 shops, right? So if you think of it like this is like your um say Shopee or UPS delivery, right? So what you want to do is to optimize the planning of your delivery, optimizing the your truck load in terms of value, how many stops, how much time they spend. You do not want your truck to be stuck in traffic or somewhere. So it's about achieving the efficiency. Now, so in order to help the trucks to be the delivery system to be efficient, then we have to uh, control or at least influence when the shops place their orders, right? So we do set a fixed time, a fixed day for each shop, telling the shop, okay, you are supposed your delivery is scheduled on a Thursday, so please deliver on a Tuesday. So that's what we tell them, but not but they are not so obedient all the time. So we are trying to make sure that they improve on that so that our delivery can be better, more predictable, better planned, and more efficient, and ultimately to cut down costs. Okay, because everything in Singapore is about cost, right? Sales resources, delivery resources, your trucks and everything is all about it's all expensive. So we have to work very, very hard to cut down costs.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry. My
Hi.
question is more on the app itself, I guess. Also,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about the retailer side of interaction. How
Yep.
does it work for like the brand owners and distributors? Are they directly updating the app, or is the app more of actually just an interface where you are collating information and orders, and then still dealing with the brand owners and distributors in a more old-fashioned way? Uh, and then I guess the flow on from that question is in terms of the revenue model, does Hijab earn from like a percentage on each retailer's transactions, or is that also revenue from the distributors and brand owners for them being listed on the app?
Okay. So we do get some revenue out of what you have mentioned. Okay. So but I'll not get into details here. So because that's not part of the scope of the project. Yeah.
But sorry, so just to clarify, but also in understanding in terms of prioritization of churn segments, um,
Mm.
when a retailer makes an order, is the revenue determined by the value of the order, by the number of orders in terms of total count, number of products. So I think that how each order impacts the
Okay.
bottom line helps us with understanding the prioritization of how we look at churn.
Okay. So Actually, that's the answer that you need to find out. Okay. Now, so we are looking at customer reordering pattern behavior, right? How often they place order, what is the gap in terms of timing between the orders. So we are looking at also the surge and the decline, and ultimately, okay, so that's where you need to find the answers. Yeah. Okay, Gauri, you want to answer, you want to explain that a bit in terms of what we need to find.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so you are referring to Josh's question, is it?
Yeah, Joshua question. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can also address this along the way as well, like while we are like in the trainings. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, to keep in mind that we have just 3 more minutes actually. Let's, yeah, move on to the next person. I think let's address those questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Chan,
So
quick question. I think you,
yeah, maybe just let
yeah, go
Joshua, I
ahead.
think
Go ahead.
so we are looking at prediction, right? So of course the first thing that you see is always sales value, right? But what we want to look at is why customers are which group of customers are repeating more consistently than another groups, and then what we can do to improve their reordering frequency, and who is churning, who is dropping off, and how so which are the vulnerable group of customers that we need to work on. So that's where you need to find out. Yeah.
I think another aspect would be the volatility as well, which I
Yeah.
was explaining earlier. So yeah.
Yep. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can deep dive more during the working sessions as well on this question.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we can move on to Eddie next.
Hey, Mr.
Yep.
Chan, I had a follow-up
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
on
Hi.
the earlier, on the earlier point that you made around the final outcome, which is improving the forecast so that you can optimize your resource slash logistics, right? So my question is, are you trying to, or are we trying to optimize what is the constraint over here? Is the constraint the truck, or is the constraint the delivery time? Because you can't have both. If your trucks is fixed, say for example, you only have 20 trucks, because you can't scale up or down. It's not like ordering a Grab, right? The trucks, it's a long-term commitment thing, 1 year, 2 year. And then we
Correct.
just have
Yeah.
to play around with the number of trucks. And so
Yep.
if our forecast is not good, people will just get their products later,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
are you trying to say that, okay, to deliver a certain service level, I want to deliver all my products within X number of days.
Yep.
And so, that will be the constraint. And so we need to optimize for the minimum number of trucks. It can be 20, it can be 30, but give me the minimum number of trucks to solve the problem. What are we trying to optimize over here? Is it the time, or is it the logistics resource level? Just want to understand that a little bit more.
Okay. So in terms of the requirement by principle, they'll tell you, okay, we have to achieve, say, 90% service level. When it means 90% service, I mean, okay, so it has to be delivered within 48 hours, so to speak. All right. So these are some of the requirement. However, all right, this model actually is not working very well for the logistic player. So if you are say third party logistics, you don't really care, right? As long as an order come in, you deliver within the time frame, and you charge accordingly, right? But if the trucks are owned by you, all right, so now if you have, say, 30 trucks, then you, as a business owner, you'll be questioning, why should I keep 30 trucks? Can I work with 25 trucks? Can I work with 20 trucks? All right. And then when you cut out the 20 trucks, then there will be overtime, because the delivery guy say, hey, boss, cannot.
Work at night,
I
on
cannot,
weekends,
I
understand.
cannot,
Yeah,
I need
correct.
to go beyond the normal hours. Then OT start to come, OT claims start to
Correct.
come in, right? So what we are trying to achieve is that, we say that, look, in this business is repeating, right? And so why can't we why can't we plan better, right? Why can't we use why can't we use fewer trucks and but to deliver consistently and within the specific time frame.
Got it.
So now, so we because we do not want to be, if we are just receiving orders and deliver, then there's a very reactive. That
Yes.
works well if we are a third party logistic player, right? But we do not want to be reactive. So we want to as I mentioned, to
Yep.
influence the retailers to place the order on time.
Yep.
We want to be able to predict, okay, how much orders will they be placing on, for example, week 1, week 2, week 3 of the month. So when we have this prediction in place, who is going to place an order, how much volume they are going to place an order, then we can plan our truck schedule better, right?
Got it.
So another aspect is
That
that
helps a lot. Yep.
yeah,
Actually, you
another
want
aspect.
both. You want to minimize the number of resources, but you still want to keep your 90% service level, basically.
Yes, exactly. You're
Yep.
exactly right. You're exactly
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the clarification.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Teddy. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think we are a little over time, but we will keep it very short. Like, yeah, Shefali and Victor, like we'll take the last two questions.
Yeah, my question, Mr. Chan, is
Yes.
you said your apps works seamlessly with the distributors and the retailers' ERP
Yeah.
systems. What I want to understand is that do they all use the same ERP system, which I'm guessing may not be the case. They all may be having different ERP systems. The reason I'm asking this question is I want to understand if there is any kind of technical glitches or those kind of issues also which come up in terms of your turnaround times and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of ERP system, you're right. So at the back end, there are multiple ERP system. It's quite a nightmare. It's quite a nightmare. Some system allow us to connect directly, like through API. Some we need to use robotic process to transfer the orders. So it's quite varied. But so far we have connected and is running seamlessly. Very, very occasional glitches, right? Yeah. So
Thank you.
overall, not much issue on the ERP side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, quick one. I understand we are wrapping up.
Yeah.
So I understand the shop code and the product codes are masked, so we don't know
Yes.
what the products are. So
Yeah.
that is by design. So when we do the
Yes.
analysis, we just assume product XYZ
Correct.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Shyam, for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty detailed Q&A. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So,
So
hmm,
thanks for having me. Look forward to see you at the presentation day. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you.
I'll take back the screen now. I'll share my screen.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. So with that, right, I think let's continue on the analytics workflow. And this slide is about how you should always tie back, right, the key questions that you are solving to potential business impact as well. So ultimately, we are solving a business problem over here, right? So the different parts we are working on is to solve a particular business problem. So try to always link back the analysis that you are doing with the business problem that you are solving as well, right? So for example, the customer segmentation, you are trying to solve and you are trying to help Keynet on how they can increase the volume of transactions for various segments. So you want to find out the segments because ultimately you would like to, or Keynet would like to improve or increase the volume of transaction. So there can be a high value segment that you are able to identify. There can be a low value segment that you are able to identify, and then there has to be strategies for these segments tailored to the segments so that you can increase the volume of their transactions. So for any problem statement that you are solving for, try to link that to the potential business impact as well. Now, for customer segmentation, your analysis could be K-means. Your analysis could be RFM segmentation as well, which I will talk about in a bit. So RFM is basically not a black box algorithm. It is a rule-based algorithm, which is pretty straightforward, easy to implement as well. So I will give you some overview of what it is, and then later you can also go through and read about it a little bit if at all you want to implement that for your solutioning. Okay, so these are the suggested analysis. Again, these are just guiding principles. These are just some suggestions, all right? You don't have to stick to it. If you want to explore beyond this, feel free to explore beyond this as well. Now for segmentation part, if you're performing K-means or you're performing RFM, you are expected to submit a Jupyter notebook. So you will be required to work on Jupyter notebook for this. But let's say if you want to perform profiling of these segments, right? So after you have identified, okay, shop 1 belongs to high value segment. Shop 2 belongs to mid value segment, for example, right? Then if you want to do the profiling of these shops, feel free to do so in Excel or even Power BI for that matter. Okay. So how do you link? So the key question that you are solving for is how to increase the volume of transaction, and the potential business impact for every problem that you are solving is, here's an example. So increase the transaction by X percentage through customer segmentation strategies. And these XYZ are your segmentation strategies. So that's how you should be answering the questions as well. Okay. Then second problem statement is the churn prediction. So why do you want to identify churn is because you would like to intervene and convert the disengaged shop to re-engage them. And for this, you need to come up with a churn prediction model. You can either use logistic regression, you can use XGBoost, you can play around with other models as well to see which one is working the best for the data set. Now, it might sound very straightforward, right? Because you have been working on churn models so far, like you have been preparing your assessment, you use churn prediction model to even solve for your mini projects. You have seen how you can use a churn prediction model. So it is very familiar, but then for the capstone, it's going to be slightly different in the sense that we just have the transaction data now, right? Your data is not even labeled. Your data do not have whether a customer or whether a shop is really disengaged or not, right? So you need to label the data. You need to prepare the data. You need to focus on the data preparation bit quite a bit. All right, so then you have to ultimately build a soft churn model. And for this also, you need to make use of the Jupyter notebook. So that's going to be your final deliverable for this as well. Data visualization. I think it's very clear as to what we are expected from the data visualization. So for data visualization, we are going to use the Power BI. And essentially, we have to identify the behavioral patterns between the apps. So I think, yeah, app 1 versus app 2, you can consider it to be something like self-ordered and assisted, right? It's something like that. So it's the same apps, the interface is exactly the same, but one is being used by the end users themselves, and the other one is being assisted by the sales representatives from the distributor's side. Okay, so that's essentially what Keynet wants, but for yourself, right? If you want to show the trend and patterns of the retailers, the shops, how they are purchasing, is there a peak season? Is there a seasonality out there, etc., etc.? If you want to showcase those information as well, feel free to leverage on the Power BI platform for that as well. All right. Now, During the presentation, I will come to this point later as well. During the presentation, you don't have to switch your screens. Like you don't have to switch your screen, bring your Power BI, then go to PowerPoint, etc. You don't need to do that because you have just 12 minutes time to present. You have to stick to your PowerPoint presentation. What you can do is, if at all you want to show some trends and patterns, right? You can take a screenshot of it, put it in your PowerPoint, and then explain it. That's it. All right, so don't switch screens. Very important is the forward-looking roadmap. This is what the client will be interested in, right? The so what. Okay, I hear you out that these are the customers who are going to disengage. I hear you that this is the segments that I can create. So what do I do? Right? That's important. So that's the forward-looking roadmap, that how and what strategies you can define in order to efficiently manage the different segments that are there, efficiently re-engage the customers in the future who you are predicting to be disengaged, right? So for this one, I think the trainers will guide you as to how you can design this. But for me, at a very high level for today's sharing, right, I think it will be very good if you can come up with, a short-term plan, a long-term plan as to where Keynet should be focusing on in the next 2 months or next 3 months, and then long-term in the next 6 months where their focus should be as well. What are some of the low-hanging fruits that they can immediately work on? What are some of the things that they can park for later as well, right? So come up with that metrics, come up with that timeline whereby this one particular slide is going to be very important for Keynet, right? And then you support your analysis with evidences from your customer segmentation, from your churn prediction, etc., etc. All right. So take that top-down approach, because this is going to be a business presentation. So take that top-down approach. You don't have to start with, okay, this is the data I have cleaned. These are the steps that I have taken to clean my data. Keynet will not be so much interested on it. One-liner is fine, but then, yeah, don't need to go very much in details of it as well. Okay. Then your, again, analytics workflow at the guiding principle, I think I'll keep it short and at a very high level, because this is something that you will be anyways like deep diving into as well. But please take a note that this is just guiding principle, yeah? You don't have to stick to whatever is there on this slide. You don't have to like cover each and every aspect that is there on this slide, right? So for customer segmentation, definitely you need to clean the historical sales data. Now, like I mentioned, your data is given to you at a transaction level. What does that mean is that today, 10 shops could have made the transaction, right? All those 10 shops details, how many times they are purchasing, what they are purchasing, etc., is going to be there in the granular level, right? So then for you, firstly, you need to check for any issues in the data. There could be potential issues like, negative values of sales, zero values of sales, etc., etc. So try to check for those information. Then clean the data. Then you have to aggregate the data as well, because you cannot work at the granular level of data, because ultimately what you want, shop one belongs to a particular segment, right? Segment A maybe. Shop 2 belongs to another segment. So your data needs to be aggregated at the shop level, right? So perform data aggregation, perform your data cleaning, then explore the different clustering algorithms like K-means, RFM. Now, RFM is new. This terminology is new, but it's very straightforward, very simple to use algorithm. And the reason we are mentioning this name so much is because for such kind of retail data, right, transaction data, we have seen that if you consider metrics like how recently somebody has purchased, how frequently someone has purchased, what amount they have spent, right? So RFM stands for recency, frequency, monetary value. You are able to segment them very nicely as well. The segmentations work very nice. And so these are at the shop level, even for companies like Amazon, Lazada, etc., right? For them also, we are the customers, right? So for them also, they can make use of this RFM segmentation to identify the different segments of customers based on how recently a customer is buying, how frequently they are buying, and what monetary amount they are spending as well. All right, so that's why we are focusing on this RFM segmentation. Okay, so nothing is given to you apart from the transaction data. So all these metrics, how recently a shop has bought, how frequently they are buying, what amount they are spending, all these columns you need to come up with. So you need to perform these feature engineering on the data. Okay, and then you can perform your segmentation. For the churn prediction, again, you need to prepare your data because your data is not labeled. For this churn prediction also, you need to aggregate your data at the shop level. Then based on a rule, based on definition, you need to label your data whether or not the customer have churned or not, or disengaged or not, right? Now, later I'll have a slide whereby I will talk about this definition of how you can define churn. But the definition is definitely not coming from the client, okay? So feel free to tweak and define your own churn rule based on your data analysis as well. I think Pam asked this question earlier. So yes, feel free to define the rule as to how you want to label your data as well. Okay. Then the third aspect is develop a Power BI dashboard to visualize the overall business, because the client is more interested on the app behavior, but feel free to also have an executive summary page to understand, right? To even explore the data, to understand how the business is performing, how the volumes looks like, et cetera, as well. Okay, then the fourth part is the forward-looking roadmap. I think something that I mentioned already, identify or come up with your strategies and clearly mention the timeline, clearly mention the strategies that are that Keynet should be focusing on. What are some of the immediate, or quick win that Keynet can have? What are something that they can park for later as well? Right? So you are required to come up with a prioritization framework, right? Again, when it's mentioned you are required, nothing is like cast in stone that you have to do this. These are, again, guiding principles where we are sharing some best practices for the presentation. Please feel free to tweak it if there is anything better that you can think of as well. All right? Okay, perfect. So then for the submission, I think I mentioned already, two things that you need to submit is the Power BI file and the presentation converted to PDF. And Rachel is going to let you know the timeline for submission, but most likely it's going to be on the 12th of March. Okay, so 12th of March, maybe around 7:30 p.m., you should be submitting all your materials. Okay. Jupyter Notebooks, you don't have to explicitly submit. Okay, I'll take a pause over here. Any questions on the submission side? Any questions on the analytics workflow from anyone? Okay, perfect. So if no questions, I think we can take a 15 minutes break, right? After which I'll walk you through the RFM and churn definition. All right. And then after that, we are going to work on I'll show you how to work on the GitHub platform as well. Okay, I'll stop my screen share. Let's go for a break. Okay, welcome back. Okay, please turn on your videos if you're back. All right. So I'll just continue with the understanding of RFM and churn. So before the break, we touched base on the analytics workflow and some of the guiding principles for this project. Now, for the RFM, like I mentioned, RFM is a rule-based clustering algorithm. It's not a black box machine learning algorithm, but it is a rule-based algorithm whereby you can identify user behavior, customer behavior, identify, who are the most valuable customers, who needs attention, etc., based on the behavior of their purchase. All right. So RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value. And most of these retail companies, right, uses this technique in order to segment their customers, in order to understand purchasing behavior of the customers. Okay, so when we talk about recency is what is the last customer activity, or when was the last customer activity. So every data set will have a cutoff date, right? A cutoff date. So whereby you can consider that cutoff date and see that for every shop, let's say for our data set, right? What is the freshness of the customer activity? When was the last time that they interacted or they purchased, etc. So you can use the recency metric, or you can calculate the recency metric from the transaction data that you have. Then you can calculate the frequency metric as well. So what is the average frequency of every shop, right? How frequently every shop is buying. So the total number of transactions that they perform, maybe in a period of time, etc. Then the monetary value is what is their purchase power, right? How much they are purchasing, how much they are willing to spend, right? That the total monetary value that they have spent, or even the average monetary value that they have spent, etc., etc. So you can come up with these metrics, the recency, frequency, and monetary value for every shop from the data set. Now, RFM is where the companies or the retailer companies use these three metrics only to identify customers' behavior. But Keynet wants to take an approach whereby it wants to understand its customer behavior or shop behavior not only on these three metrics, but also on the volatility metric, whereby it wants to identify and segment the shops based on how consistently the shops are purchasing, because that's one of the things that they want to address as well, that shops should be consistently buying as well, right? So for you have to analyze the segments based on how recently they have purchased, how frequently they purchased, what is the amount they spend, and also what is the consistency of the purchase as well. Okay, so you can calculate the volatility, which is the standard deviation of days between orders. All right, now based on these metrics, again, please give it a read as to how you come up with this RFM segmentation. It's quite straightforward. So you provide scores, and based on the scores and the percentile cutoffs, you come up with the segments. All right, so yeah. So these are the 4 metrics that you need to create and then segment your customers. Feel free to also use k-means. You can use k-means to identify the optimal number of clusters. You can also come up with your segmentation using k-means, but you can keep these metrics as well and compare which one is working out better, or which one is giving you clear segments and there are no overlap of the segments as well. Okay. So When you perform RFM analysis, this is how your segments look like. So obviously you need to come up with the profiling of the segments, but this is at a very high level, which is an example, which is a real client example as well that BCG have worked on. But yeah, you can have a VIP segment of customers, meaning that a group of customers who are purchasing very high volume or high value of items. They are very frequently purchasing and they have very recently purchased as well. So they are my VIP customers, right? Very important customers. Then potentially there could be another group of customers who doesn't buy very high ticket items, or the monetary spend is not too high, but they frequently purchase. So they, even if they purchase small amounts, they keep on purchasing, very frequent buyer, and there is no volatility as well. They are they have also recently purchased. So probably they are my loyal group of customers, right? Now the strategy that I'm going to have for my loyal group of customers versus the high value customers might be different as well to keep them buying, right? So that's what is the end goal that we will be looking at as well. Then there could be customers who used to very frequently purchase, but then now they are not purchasing anymore, right? So maybe there is high volatility, and then sometimes they are purchasing high monetary value, but then recently we have seen that even the monetary value has gone down as well. So probably they are the about to churn customers, so on and so forth. So based on these metrics, you can identify the different groups of customers, and then you can tailor your strategies to keep them buying based on the segments that you have identified as well. Okay, to the right hand side, you can see that there is another example of segment. So when you identify the segments, you can also perform your segments profiling as well. So high value customers are those customers whose average order value is more than $800. The last purchase is more than 12 months. The medium value customers are where the customer's average order value is more than $400 and less than $800, so on and so forth. So you have to do the profiling as well. Now the segment's name, you can come up with the segment's name as well. Yeah, I mean, high value, medium value, low value are very simple names that we have provided. But then over here, you can see that we have provided names like sophisticated fresher, fixed traditionalist, value conscious novices. And then there is a description based on the profile. You are also describing what kind of cluster they are basically. Okay. Perfect. So this is the RFM analysis. Again, if you want to incorporate this, feel free to just read about it, and then yeah, you will be able to incorporate this as well. Any questions from anyone before I proceed? Okay, great. The next part is the churn analysis. Now for the churn, I think we have heard about this term churn quite a lot as well for the telco customers data set that we have worked on, for the bank customers data set that we have worked on, etc. But essentially churn is where we can identify that our customers have likely reduced the engagement. They have declined their engagement, or they have completely stopped purchasing the product as well. All right. So there can be a hard churn. Hard churn is where a customer has completely disengaged with us, no more interaction at all. That's hard churn. Soft churn is where there is a decline in engagement, but still they are our customers. Okay. Now, why identifying churn is important? Because acquiring new customers is always more expensive, right? So if you got to have marketing cost, you need to have a lot of other costs associated, right? Whenever you want to acquire new customers. So essentially, we don't want to have that. And the idea for any business will be to retain the existing customer as well, because that's beneficial for the business. And when we talk about churn, I think churn is something that we consider in almost all industries, all businesses, right? So customers can be churning for banks, customers can be churning for telco companies, customers can be churning for retail companies like Keynet as well. And there can be churn for companies whereby the employees churn as well, right? So churn is something that you will see the use case very much in almost all industries. Okay, now defining soft churn, right? Like I mentioned here, you do not have a definition that is given by Keynet, right? So we have come up with a very high level definition. So we are saying that if a particular shop is not purchasing 3 times from the average purchase interval, so every shop will have their average purchase intervals, right? So some shop might have like 2 weeks of purchase interval. Some shops might have 5 weeks of purchase interval, for example, right? So every shop will have their own purchase intervals, because you can imagine, right? For a business like Keynet, some shops can be purchasing very frequently. Some shops can be ordering every 6 months only or every year only, right? Now, based on that, if a shop has not purchased 3 times from that average purchase interval, then we are saying that this particular shop is exhibiting a soft churn attribute. Now, again, this definition is not coming from Keynet, so feel free to tweak this definition based on what you find out. So this can be average purchase frequency, maybe, right? Not just interval, maybe average purchase frequency. Or maybe, you add another metric as well. So 3 times the average purchase interval plus 2 times the monetary spend. If that is going down, then yes, they are exhibiting churn attributes, right? So this is just a help out there to get you started, to think through how do you define churn, but this is something that is not given by the client. If you are to define your own churn, specify during the presentation how you are defining your churn as well, right? Okay, so it's very clear you have the flexibility to determine the soft churn criteria. All right. So we covered RFM, we covered the churn definition, then the Power BI dashboard that you have. This particular slide over here again is some guiding principle. You don't really have to create your dashboards, your visualizations based on whatever is mentioned on the slide. No, that's not what is required. I think it's very clear what the business wants. And then it is up to you on what you want to show as well, right? The health of the business, maybe, right? High level metrics of the business. Keynet will already be knowing those, but then just to get started, if you want to showcase and highlight on certain things, feel free to do so as well. Okay. So the KPIs could be sales, right? Although it is mentioned total sales over here, but if you are mentioning total sales, then ensure that you specify that total sales is for this particular timeline of data that you have, because as your timeline increases, your total sales value keeps on increasing. So that doesn't really give a very good metric as to measuring the sales value as well, right? But if you want to talk about the average sales per month, per quarter, etc., you can show those metrics, KPIs as well. The average order value, the repeat rate of shops, how many active shops are there, then the app 1 versus app 2 comparison, what Keynet would like to look at as well. Then your behavioral patterns, right? So if you want to show the segments, so after you have created the segments, you want to come up with a heat map, let's say, and you would like to show that what is the split of the different segments that are there, etc. How the trends look like for recency, frequency, monetary, volatility over time for the top 10 customers, so on and so forth, right? Feel free to refer to the slide and showcase those in your Power BI dashboard. Okay, and very important is that how your story flows, right? Don't randomly just put in any visualization. Obviously, there is a business problem that you are solving. Your story should flow accordingly. And to support that, if you need any visualization to bring in from Power BI, bring that in. Okay. Now, what good looks like. So when we are creating presentation, I'm sure like all of us would have created presentations at some point or the other. But BCG do follow some best practices for presentations. And I will share with you a few of how and what good looks like. So these are some snapshots of presentations whereby firstly, right, your slide titles should not be very generic. Like we tend to see generic slide titles like customer segmentation. That does not tell anything. Your slide titles should have a key message where whoever is looking at your slide, they are looking at your slide, they are listening to you. So obviously it has to be very clear. The key message has to be very clear on the slide title itself. So if you look at this example, increase price of SKU in group 2 by 1 to 3% to have 3% increase in sales for SKUs in group 1. So this is a key message. I know what I am looking at. I know what information I need to capture from this slide as well. Okay, do not give generic slide titles. Second is there is a temptation because I have worked on so many analysis, because I have created so many visualizations in the dashboard, I tend to put in everything. You don't have to put in everything, right? Your slide should contain 1 to maximum of 2 visualizations, not more than that. Otherwise, it looks very cluttered. Okay, stuffed with information, we really don't know where to focus on as well. Your slides, right? For example, this one over here. Just provide 2 to 3 pointers that you want to support, right? Whatever you want to bring out from that particular slide, 2 to 3 supporting points, that's it. All right, so these are some of the best practices that you should follow when you are creating your presentation. Now, timeline-wise, right, you will have a little over 1 week time to work on this entire analysis, right? So you do have working sessions in the morning, and then you will have your you have the coaching sessions in the morning, and then you will have your working sessions in the afternoon. But still, the timeline is a little over 1 week. So there is a lot of things to do, right? Where learners usually miss out on is that they invest a lot of time in analysis, and there is no end to analysis. You can keep on analyzing things, but you really need to draw the boundary as to when you should stop performing the analysis and really focus on the presentation, because ultimately what you are sharing is the presentation, right? And presentation is going to be the face value of all the analysis that you are doing as well. So do spend or do keep enough time for your presentation, because it requires you to it requires everybody to be in sync as well, right? You don't want to design one slide very differently than the other, because everybody is going to work on bits and pieces, right? So ensure that you have ample time to actually structure your presentation and follow the best practices of creating these presentations as well. All right. Okay.
Gary?
Yeah.
Can I just ask, I think my understanding is each team has 12 minutes, right? And I think there is, from a group sizing perspective, some groups are anything from 4, 5, 6, 7 and onwards. What is your recommended approach to presentation style? Should the team split it by 3 minutes each, 4 minutes each? Because obviously if it's going to be everybody speaks and everybody takes a minute, it's going to be quite disruptive. And how does that hold with the grading? Are we graded as a team or individual? I believe my understanding is it could be a combination of both. So what is your recommendation as a best practice for the presentation to make that impact?
Yeah, I think very valid question, and I will come to that, right, Lavina? So let me come to that, and then if you have any further questions, I will address those as well. Just allow me 2 more slides, and then we will discuss about this. Yeah. Okay. All right. One thing that I would like to highlight, which is very important, is that we have been working with a lot of data, right? You have been working on data set from your working sessions, right? From whatever you have learned. You have been working with data sets whereby you have access to the mini project data, you have access to the different exercise data, and now the capstone data as well, right? So all this data that has been shared with you are BCG properties, and you are requested, and we are quite stern in this as well, that data really matters, and you are not allowed to share any of the data for whatever reasons. Yeah. So if you want to share your achievements, you can share your certificates in LinkedIn or any other social media posts. You can share your all other achievements, but do not share any insight, any data pertaining to any of the materials and data that has been shared with you so far, and also pertaining to the capstone data that is being shared with you as well, and whatever findings you find from that data set. Okay, so no sharing of any insight, no sharing of any data in any platform. Okay. Okay, now coming to the final presentation, right? So the final presentation is going to be next week, which is 13th of March at the BCG office. It's an in-person session. So first we are going to have the presentation, followed by that there is going to be a graduation ceremony as well. The time is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. Keynet will be present, like CEO Xiong will be present, and you will also have the trainers there, like the panel who will be grading you on your presentation as well as your analysis. Now, every group will get 12 minutes of time to present. And when we say 12 minutes, it's a hard stop at 12 minutes. So you will get a reminder at about 11 minutes mark, and then 12 minutes is a hard stop. And Andrew will be there. So Andrew is very strict about the time as well. So yeah, ensure that you wrap up your presentation in 12 minutes time, because you will not be given any grace. And what happens really is that if you don't practice enough on timing your presentation, then we or the groups end up somewhere, at 75% mark of completion. And then the rest 25% is probably about the forward-looking roadmap, which is very important, and you miss out on that. So timing is very important. 12 minutes mark is a hard stop. Every member needs to present. Every team member, group member needs to present. And I know it's a bit of, overwhelming for 8 group members to present in 12 minutes time, but that's how you got to time it. We do understand the challenges, but really we also want to ensure that everyone gets the opportunity to present as well, because there are going to be 8 groups, right? And we do have like limited time as well. So going back to Lavina's question, right? What is the best practice? So cap everyone's sharing at 1 to 1.5 minutes only, right? Do not spend a lot of time in introducing your group members. Yes, do a high-level introduction. That's very important as well to show Keynet that you guys are working in a group, etc. But don't spend too much time on things like how you cleaned your data, what potential issues were there. I mean, at a high level, one-liner is fine, but then don't deep dive on the unnecessary stuffs more during the presentation. You can always park those as appendix to your presentation, whereby if there are questions arising, how do you get this 98% accuracy of your model? Then yes, go back to the appendix and then explain it. But otherwise, you don't need to explain that during the 12 minutes of presentation. But everybody needs to present. The second question that was raised is that, is the scoring group based or there is individual component as well? And it's a mix of both. So it's a group project, yes, so the group will be scored, but there is also individual component whereby the way you are presenting, the way you are addressing Q&A, how you are taking up the questions, are you participating on the questions as well, is part of the individual components. So yeah, everybody needs to present in that 12 minutes mark. Okay, does that address the questions? Very happy to take up any questions if there are any as well.
Gauri?
Yeah.
Can I then just understand? I believe there'll be 2 parts of type of scoring. One is for team, one is for individual. So if possible to elaborate a bit on how the scoring, how do you all, or what you do you all look at?
Okay, there are rubrics. I think the rubrics is was already shared with you in the initial decks, but if not, I think Rachel can share with you the rubrics again. But there are components of individual sharing, like your presentation skill, and then the way you are taking up the questions, etc. And rest everything about timing, how you are timing your presentation. Are you exceeding the time? Are you too much below the 12 minutes mark, etc. So timeline, then the quality of your presentation, etc. These are the group aspect, and then there is an individual aspect as well. Yeah. Okay, whether your group's presentation is complete or not, whether you are covering all the aspects of the business problem that we have spoken about or not, right? All these are group components, and then how individually you are sharing as well is being graded. Yes, Shefali.
Yeah, so in customer segmentation, for example, you showed there were, 3 different types of approaches we can use.
Yeah.
Is it recommended that we stick to only one approach, or we use more than one approach?
Yeah. So usually, right, like real-time business cases, we cannot stick to one approach, right? We have to compare. We need to see which one is working better. Now, for your case, because you have limited time, I will leave it to you. You can decide on what is working out for you. Although you have 8 members in the group, what I will suggest is, if you are comparing, if you are performing, let's say, K-means and RFM, maybe 2% can split the work. 1% can focus on RFM, 1% can focus on K-means, and then you combine and compare your results as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, Rory, can I check? Just now you mentioned Q&A. So is the Q&A answered by the team itself, or is it directed to the individual team members who are presenting?
Yeah. So usually what happens is it's not individually. So we are not going to pick up like, okay, you have to address this question. It's not like that. The question will come in from the panel, right? What kind of question? Xiong will be more interested to understand the strategies that you are talking about, the information that you are providing, etc. The trainers will be more interested to look at your accuracy score. What are the data cleaning steps that you have done, perhaps? What are the feature engineering that you have done, etc., etc. Now, they will ask you the question, but from the group, any individual can address the question. But typically what happens is, let's say, Brian, you have worked on the RFM segmentation bit. Then any questions pertaining to RFM, you will be addressing the question. Okay, and then how well you are able to address the question is something where individual scoring will be given as well. Okay, so 12 minutes mark, hard stop. That's for your presentation, followed by a 12 to 13 minutes of Q&A. Okay, so Q&A is not part of the 12 minutes. So 12 minutes is for your presentation only, no disruption over there. You stop, and then the panel will be asking questions. Okay, so 12 plus maybe 13 around, 13 plus, yeah. Okay, so that's the presentation piece. Any further questions? All right, so if no questions, I think we are going to switch to the GitHub. We can take a 5 minutes break, right, just to reset things. And next we are going to see how you can work on the collaboration platform, which is the GitHub desktop. Yeah, and feel free to drop any questions regarding the presentation that you have to Rachel as well later, and then we can get back to you as well. Okay, cool. I'll stop the screen share. Let's take a 5 minutes break and then come back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Okay, so the next piece is the GitHub piece. And essentially, this is a version control system. So Git is a version control system, right? And the reason we are introducing you to this platform is because you will be collaborating, right? This is a group project. It's going to be a collaboration work for individuals, and real time in business. Also, if we are working on a project, right, and there is coding involved, etc., we have to use a collaboration platform. Otherwise, your individual Jupyter notebooks are just going to be on your systems, and then nobody else will be able to see what you have done. You will not be able to see what others are working on, etc. as well. So we are introducing you to this platform, which is for collaboration. All right. So the typical problems we face when we are coding in a team setting is, firstly, whose system, if we are working on our local machines, right, whose system is going to store the final copy of the project or the official copy of the project, right? Are we able to see what others are working on? Are we able to edit something on the files that others are working on? Do we have the right to do so? Do we have the right to review what others have worked on? Because again, it's not an individual work that we are doing. We are working as a team. What will happen if everybody tries to edit, work on the same file itself? What happens if a file gets corrupted? So you have worked on probably the entire data cleaning, exploratory data analysis, etc. And then the Jupyter notebook fails to load anymore. It is corrupted now. Are there any backups? How do you go back and trace the backup, right? Or you completely lose out the work that you have done. Okay, are there any tracker in place to even see, right, what is the progress of the project, what and how much the other person who is responsible to work on certain things have completed, etc. So how do you track those as well? And yeah, it can so happen that your individual, like your laptop maybe, right, crashed, your laptop might be stolen. Yeah, so your code is lost completely. So then how do you trace them back as well? So these are some of the typical challenges and problems that we have when we work in a team. And if we were to put our Jupyter notebooks, our codes in our local tribes, then yes, these are the typical problems and challenges that we face as well. So to cater to this, right, to cater to this, the solution is the version control system that we are talking about. And there are different flavors of these, this version control system, Git, right? Some users use GitHub, some users use GitLab, some users use Bitbucket, etc. But ultimately, all of these are nothing but a version control system to track changes, to go back to a previous changes that you have made, etc., etc. And it helps in collaboration as well. So version control systems lets us track any file changes. And also if we want to roll back to any of the previous versions, we can do so as well, right? So I'll give you some examples also. So now when we talk about a version control system, right, typically if you look at the left-hand side diagram on this slide, there is a repository that's there, right? Now, this repository, everybody will have access to this repository. It is being created for all of your teams, right? What you need to essentially do, or how the workflow looks like, is that you need to create a snapshot, a copy of that repository in your local machines. Then you need to work on your local machines itself. Every day or after you have completed a particular chunk of your work, you need to push those changes to the cloud repository so that others can see your work as well. So that's how the workflow is at a very high level. So there is a cloud repository. You take a copy of that cloud repository in your local system. You work on your local system, and every day or after every milestone, you push those changes back to the cloud so that others can see what you have worked on. So this way, others in your team are updated about what you have worked on. If they need to review your code, they will be able to review your codes as well, because there might be some issues with the code. There might be something that you have worked on, and probably the representative of the team really need to put everything in places. Because for this project, if I take this project's example, right? One person will be working on RFM, another person will be working on k-means, let's say. Another person will be working on the churn prediction, whereby you will be trying on logistic regression. Another person probably will be working on XGBoost, right? So then there are a lot of things happening in parallel as well. So then you need to also put everything in place. One person need to also monitor and see like if everything is in place, is every milestone being reached, all the codes are properly aligned, etc., etc. So then the way the person can actually review all of this is by looking at your Jupyter notebooks, right? So your Jupyter notebooks in your system might not be the best way to look at, right? So you can share your screen, but other than the sharing of screen, it's very difficult for the other person to look into your stuff unless you just email them or probably upload it to OneDrive, etc. So the more sophisticated way of this collaboration is using this version control platforms. Now, in these version control platforms, one of the beauty is that all the changes that you are making is recorded. So meaning that you just added a comma to your code, or you just added one dot to your code, right? All the changes that you are making are being tracked. And this helps anybody to trace back where the code broke, if at all the code broke, all right? You can safely experiment if there are any errors, right? So maybe your code was working the last hour and now the code is not working anymore. If you want to roll back to the past hour, you can do so very easily if you push your codes in this version control system. Okay, so that's the beauty of using this version control system for collaboration. So if there are any errors, you can go back to the previous changes. If there are any if there are any errors in the code as well, right? You need to debug, you need to audit. You can do so and check where exactly the error came out from as well. You can safely create your branches. What these branches are, I will talk about in a bit. But then essentially this version control system allows you to safely even experiment anything without fearing that you might fail and this code might just not work as well. All right. Okay. Now, when we work on any version control system, for example, Git, essentially there are 4 stages of the workflow. Okay, let me start with the right-hand side. So there is a remote repository that is residing on the cloud. Okay, so this remote repository is being created already, and this is basically a folder that is sitting on the cloud. Okay, you can imagine it to be a folder that is sitting on the cloud. And you got to create a snapshot. You got to create a copy of this remote repository to your local system. All right. We term it as local repository. For GitHub, this local repository and working directory are the same thing. So they are interchangeably used. For many other platforms, they are different things as well. So let's not go into considering or treating them as different. Just consider that for GitHub, you have a remote repository sitting on the cloud. You take a copy. How do we do it? We are going to go through it. You take a copy of that remote repository and save it in your local machine. That becomes your local repository as well as your working directory. In this working directory, you create your files, you create your Jupyter notebook the usual way you do it, right? So launch Anaconda prompt, launch your Jupyter notebook and start working on your project, right? Again, you can assign what everybody is going to work on. So there is going to be a separate discussion on that. But then, yeah, you can start creating your Jupyter notebooks within your working directory. After you have worked on a certain project or maybe a part of the project also, maybe you are working on EDA. Now, EDA itself is quite huge, right? You can't complete everything in one shot. Maybe you have done just 25% of the EDA. So there is a Jupyter notebook, you have completed 25% of your EDA. Go ahead and push your notebook to the remote repository so that your other teammates can see what you have worked on. Also, later when you want to come back and continue working on it, that's not a problem at all. Your file is going to be there in the working directory, so you can continue working as well. Now, in order to push your files, right? In order to push your files, there are multiple steps involved. First, you need to push your file to the staging area. So staging area is basically, so it's not a place which you will be able to see, but it's like a bridge. It's like a transition area whereby you are pushing your files from your working directory to the remote repository. So it involves the step of committing your files, committing your changes that you are working on, and then finally pushing your file to the remote repository so that others can see it. I'll demo you this entire process, so not to worry about it. I will demo this entire process, but now just try to understand the process flow, right? So there is a cloud repository, you take a copy of it, that becomes your working directory, you create your files, etc., and then you push your files so that others are able to see and review your work. That's how the process flow is. All right. Okay. So some definitions, right? Some definitions. Repository, I spoke about it. Consider it to be a folder. It's nothing but a folder that is sitting on the cloud. Commit. So whenever you make any changes to your file, whenever you create a new file, to move your file from your working directory, your local directory, to the staging area, which is the transition area, the bridge, you got to commit those files, those changes. Branches, you can consider branches as a subfolder that you are creating. So for example, there is a cloud repository that is there, right? For every team, group one is going to have a repository. This is a folder, right? Now, every individual will be working on their separate small folders. In GitHub terminology, those are known as branches. So you can create your own branch and you can work on the part that you are assigned to work on. So for example, I am part of group one, let's say, and I am assigned to work on, let's say, RFM, right? So I create my own branch, Gori, and inside that I create my Jupyter notebooks to work on the RFM bit so that every individual's work is separated. There is no conflict. Okay, so every individual works on their own divergent path of development, isolated from others, and that's what branch is. Consider it to be small little subfolders that you are creating. All right. Then merging is basically the act of integrating the changes. So now you have worked on one part, you want to merge this branch to something called the main branch, which is going to store the master copy of everything, right? So that part is known as merging. So every individual works on divergent branches. Then when you have finalized your work, you merge it to the main branch. Okay, we will demo all of this. Pull is fetching the changes. So for example, we are working in a group, right? Now, I have worked on something. Now, Andrew needs to see what I have worked on. He is going to pull the changes so that he is able to see what I have worked on. So pull is essentially, you can consider it to be a refresh. right? So you refresh the remote repository, then it's updated, and then you are able to see what other teammates are working on as well. All right. Push. Push is sending your local changes to the remote repository. So first you need to commit, meaning that you have to push your files to the staging area, which is the transition. From the transition, you need to push the changes to the remote repository. So there are 2 steps involved to push your changes from your local system to the cloud repository. So first you have to commit, and then you have to push. All right, so these are just terminologies for you to be aware of, and just FYI, because I'm going to show you the demo. So yeah, you will get used to committing, pushing, and everything as well. Okay, conflict. What is conflict? Now, because we are working on a cloud repository, right? The remote repository, what happens is if you are trying to edit someone else's work, right? One person is working on a file, you are trying to edit the same file at the same time, and both of you are trying to push your changes. Then which changes should the platform consider as the latest changes, right? So there is going to be a conflict in that situation. And to eradicate any of such conflict, we will encourage you to not directly change anything to anyone's file, right? Real time, we do change, right? Real time, we do change. There arises a situation of conflict where we can merge the conflict, we can deconflict the code, etc., but we don't want to take that complex route for this capstone project, and that's why I'll encourage everybody to work on your individual branch, right? Do not edit, do not change anybody else's work. If you want to really take a copy of others' work, create a sub branch from that branch. So for example, Andrew needs to work on some of my Jupyter notebooks, right? So he can create another branch from my branch, which is going to copy all the Jupyter notebooks to his branch, and then he can work on it, but not directly on the notebook that I have created. To ensure that there is no situation of conflict that arises. All right. Okay. Great. All right. Now, in GitHub or any of the version control systems, right, that we are talking about, there is a master branch or a main branch. So we sometimes call it master branch, sometimes some of the platform call it main, but they are the same thing. So essentially that is the main folder that is going to store all your work. All right. Now, what is that going to contain? It's going to contain your EDA. It's going to contain probably your RFM. It's going to contain your XGBoost model, etc. Right? So there's going to be a master branch or main branch that contains the workable codes, the final set of codes. But obviously you will be experimenting, right? You will be trying out RFM, you will be trying out k-means as well. So how it works? So you have your remote repository, right? You have the master copy, which is here. Every individual is going to create their own branch, right? And work on their individual parts. So one person is going to work on RFM. Another person is going to work on k-means, right? Now, after you have tested out both the algorithms, you are going to finalize only one, right? You're not going to put both as your segmentation algorithm. You are just going to choose one of it, right? Now, let's say the group consensus is that you go ahead with k-means, for example. Then the branch that contains the k-means is going to be merged to the main, whereby the k-means code is going to reside in the main branch or main or master branch of your work. RFM don't need to be merged. Okay. Another person is working on XGBoost. Another person is working on logistic regression. You compare. You proceed with logistic regression. This gets merged. XGBoost don't need to be merged. All right, so that master branch contains only the finalized codes. Now, EDA, everybody will work on EDA. Okay, usually one person is assigned to work on EDA, but for you, I think everybody needs to know the data, right? Everybody needs to understand what is happening in the data. Everybody will work on EDA. So then you got to ensure the representative of the group might need to step in to see whose file is going to be merged to the master branch in that case. All right. Questions on the spot, anybody?
Hi, Gauri.
Yeah.
Is there any limitations that we can make like as many as branches, or it's just that
you can make
there's no limitation?
Okay. Okay. Great. Now, how do you collaborate in a team setting? There are a few one-time setup that you need to do, and then there is a working model as well. So the one-time setup is, first you need to nominate a team representative. So we will not use the term code master. So usually in business situations, we do have a code master, but here I will not use the term code master. We will say there is going to be a team representative for every group, right? Now, the team representative will do all the work that others are doing, like EDA, working on any bit that the person has been assigned to. In addition to the usual work, this team representative will also be responsible and also be stepping in situations where you need to review the code, right? And you need to probably take a decision which model will be the final one. Obviously, it's a group consensus, but if there is conflicting situation, then probably the representative has a final say on this as well. Okay. If there is any disagreement, right, then yes, the team representative will be the person to step in and take a final decision, final call as well. So every group, I will suggest that you start thinking about who is going to be the team representative of that group. Okay, and then for any communication to Rachel, any communication to the trainers for the working sessions, you can be the person who can take a lead of explaining what is going on and what best practices you are using, what the next steps would be, so on and so forth as well. Right? Okay, so in addition to what everybody will be doing, you will have these responsibilities as well. So it's like a project manager. Okay. Then identify the key modules that needs to be worked on. I think it's very important to come up with a project plan because there are too many things that are working in parallel, right? Identify the different milestones, right? And when you should be aiming to complete that, because you just have a week's time, right? It's very important to time those, and then it's very important for you to stick to those timelines as well. All right, so come up with a project plan, discuss and assign work. Who is good at RFM? Who is good at logistic regression? Start assigning tasks for the individual parts as well. Ensure that you keep ample time for your presentation to create your slides, to even practice your presentation, because on 12th, right? So 13th is your final presentation. On 12th, you are going to also have a mock presentation. Mock presentation is where you are going to present in front of the trainers, and they are going to provide you some feedback to incorporate it for the final presentation. All right. So timing is very important. Then this part you don't need to worry about it so much. We have created the repository for all of you already, so no worries. Okay, then for the ongoing working model, everyone creates their own branch. Do not directly do anything on the main branch. Okay, so I think when I say this, I say it many times, but then I still sometimes see that you directly go ahead and start creating your Jupyter notebooks, because this is a step that can be very easily missed. Yeah. So ensure that you create your own branches, because if you don't create your own branches and start working directly on the main branch, all your experiment and rough works that you are doing is going to be your final submission. You don't want that, right? So you just want your actual tidy up codes to be your final submission. So create your own branches, and then you start working on your own branches. Set up regular schedule to push your work. Now you work on EDA, right? Even if you have done only 25%, ensure that you push it to the cloud repository. Why? Because for any reason, if you lose this from your local system, it's gone. You will not be able to trace back, right? But if you have pushed it to the cloud repository, then we will be able to get that back. All right. So ensure that you have a schedule to push your tasks. This one I will not emphasize so much on, because the team representative will have his or her own work. So probably, and everybody is learning, right? It's this entire thing is new to everyone. So we don't expect that the team representative is going to review everybody's code. No, it's not the case. But if there is a situation where a review is required and the representative is agreeable to do so, feel free to do that. All right. All right, and everyone does a refresh full of the master. So for these platforms, right, usually it is auto refreshed. Okay, but sometimes if it is immediate, you might not see everything, then you need to just refresh it or full to see everybody else's changes. Okay, cool. So now we are going to move to the GitHub desktop demo. What IDE we are going to use? You can use the Jupyter Notebook. You don't have to use VS Code. Okay, so can I quickly check with everyone? I think Rachel have already asked all of you to download this, right? The GitHub desktop. Did you get a chance to download GitHub desktop? Yes. Okay. Okay, fantastic. All right. I can see a few no's as well. Okay. So what?
Sorry. I
Yeah.
get to download, but I got issue at the when putting up the the shared GitHub, the platform, or the GitHub, the link.
Okay, don't worry about the link. As long as you have it downloaded, it's fine. Okay, we are going to see how you can use the link and everything as well. Okay. As long as it's downloaded, we are good to go.
It's actually at the part on the depository, the repository, the cloning, that part.
Yeah, don't worry about it. First, you download
okay.
it. If download is fine, then just leave it to me to show you how you can clone the repository.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I do see a few no. How about we take 5 minutes time to just download the GitHub desktop? All right, so you just click on the link. So you have the Windows link, you have the Mac link as well in the handout. So go ahead and click and then download it. It's as straightforward as downloading any other application, right? So there is going to be an executable file, and then you just run it to install. Okay, yes, Teddy, you raised your hand.
Sorry, quick question. So, I've worked in similar type of team settings where you have multiple people doing this kind of IT stuff. There almost needs to be, like, for each person, the task definition, what is the criteria, and a place for people to sort of update, the status. I know we're not doing such a complicated one. In the real business world, we write user stories, assign points, features, and all that. The SM normally coordinates that. I understand that. Not going to go into that. But how would you suggest, because the GitHub is just to manage the code, It's just a tool to manage the code,
Yeah.
right? We almost need something simple and fit for purpose for this 1 week
Yeah.
to sort of allow people to write down like each item, what they have achieved. I mean, more from a cooperation, coordination, and accountability standpoint,
Yeah.
right? And if they are facing any issues, they can go in to put that so that other people can see what issues they're facing, that kind of thing. I haven't really seen the actual, like, are you going to cover this or not? But just thinking aloud, are you going to cover that? Is it going to be, do you propose to use something like the board, or how do we go about doing that? Because it can get quite messy coordinating 6 or 7 or 8 people's work at the same time, How do we propose we do that? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, and that's why I think, okay, firstly, every individual definitely need to take the ownership, right, of the task that you are doing, because ultimately there is a group, it's a group project, and then there are individual components as well. Okay, if you are the project or the team representative, right? So I will encourage you to like have a proper Excel sheet to maintain like what has been completed and whatnot, right? But there will be instances where probably due to some reason, due to probably the person is not able to, surpass a particular problem that they have, they are stuck at a certain point, or due to some reason they are not able to like go to the next step, etc. So there are going to be the coaching sessions where the coaches will be there to also intervene as and when required as well, right? But then there is no sophisticated mechanism in place to actually track that accountability. It's ownership of the individual as well, solely to complete the project. Yes.
So in the past, you're saying that a simple Excel spreadsheet kept by the team rep should suffice. Everybody
Right.
And this is probably kept in a shared location where everybody can go in to update what they have done, what issues they have faced, or it's just a local version.
Yeah, I think the ownership still lies with the team rep,
Okay.
right? Yeah, you don't need to like fill in, but probably the team rep will be filling in after.
Has to go in to fill up, right? Yeah, just trying to think 2 steps ahead, some of the coordination issues that we may face in this short span of time. Because, in the commercial setting, we face so many issues working with groups of people, right, remotely. And so this is definitely an issue that we may face. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's going to be inevitable. Definitely there will be instances like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, because we always talk about agile versus waterfall and who does what first, and now we are launching into this with, I'm not sure if everybody understands or on the same page. So I foresee there to be quite a number of issues. Just trying to raise it up. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Gauri, do you want to go through the setup? Because I just downloaded it and then I come to a page that say, let's get started.
Yes, I will show you what you see, right? Let me just share my screen.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're going to see a screen like this. Let's get started. If you are in this screen, you are good to go. Okay, the next step I will discuss with you, but everybody just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see the screen.
Gauri, I when they asked me to install the on the Windows, I use my Google sign in. So it brought me to a home page. So I don't have this page where you say let's get started.
Okay, how about you share your screen very quickly?
Okay.
Okay, you share your screen and everybody else can follow this as well, like how and where exactly to be in order to clone the repository. Okay, so here, right, you are in the web page. So you are in the web page of github.com. You will have the GitHub desktop installed. So can you search for GitHub desktop over here in the search bar?
This one?
Yeah, type in GitHub desktop.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so this is the application that we want to launch, right?
Give me a second, let me pull it up to the second
Okay, so yeah, you click on this GitHub desktop.
Okay, so it says say sign into GitHub.
You don't need to sign in. You don't need to sign. You can skip that step.
Okay.
Although in the handout it's there, you can, if you have account, you can sign in. If you want to create account, that's fine. But you
Yeah.
can skip this step as well. So everybody, you can skip this step if you enter to this page. Yeah, go ahead and skip the step.
Okay.
Okay. Please keep your screen shared. Everybody, all right? If you see a page, the previous page that Brian shared, you can go ahead and skip. Then you can configure the Git whereby you provide your name, which everybody can identify you, because all the changes that you will be making will be against your name that you configure your Git with, so that others know who have done the changes. All right, and then you can provide your email address and then finish.
Oh, I see.
So this is the page where you should be landing to.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you. So
Sorry.
so that means every time we
Brian?
start, we got to use this desktop version, like our Jupyter notebook. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Go ahead. Thank you.
Gauri,
yeah.
I'm not able to get this page because when I get it into the things up there, it does not allow me to do so.
Perfect. You share your screen also.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to resolve this installation for everybody, and then we are going to see how you can clone a repository, and then we can how you can work on the platform as well.
Okay, can you see my screen?
No, not yet. You have to share.
Okay, you just get that stuff there. Okay. So can you see?
Yes, you can skip the step.
You mean I skip this? Or
yeah,
how?
Skip the step. Yeah, skip this step.
Okay.
Then provide the name, your name, and your email, and then finish. Shija, you mind checking out just Google how you can download the older version of GitHub Desktop if that's supported. But I also need to see what's the workaround for this.
Okay. I done that already. So my next question is, whenever I go to GitHub, how can I start? Because just now I go into here after the installation. Can you see this?
This is installed already, right? So now whenever you work, you got to launch your GitHub Desktop from your search bar and then come to this GitHub application, and that's it.
Oh, so I just go into the launch, which is just here, over here. Then I have GitHub here.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Sorry, Corey, I hear that you mentioned that this the GitHub after installing and launching, and then I see this page. Is it where I'm supposed to clone a repository from internet? I screenshot to you. Or do you want me to share screen?
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen. I think it's going to be the same thing that Brian raised.
Okay,
so I'll repeat
share
it.
my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I see after I launch my desktop.
Yeah, so this is where you have to be. Okay, you are on the right page, so all good.
I'm on the right tab, right? So this is where I do the clone here or create here?
We have not covered the cloning part yet. So yeah, allow me to share with you. Yeah.
So I just come here, is safe.
All good. Yeah. Yeah. You just stay here.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Gauri, sorry, I have missed the step that you showed to Brian.
Okay, no worries. You can share your screen as well.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Okay. Yes. So this is the web version, right? So you see there is an icon over here, which is the desktop app. We need to work on the desktop app.
Desktop apps.
I have annotated. You go to your taskbar. At the bottom of the screen. pink line.
Oh, okay. Then this is the one.
Skip the step. I have annotated. Yes, provide your name and email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then finish. Great. All right, so I'm going to share my screen back. So I think everybody has downloaded the GitHub desktop app successfully. Okay, next, right, the view might be slightly different because I think for some of you, these options can be towards the right-hand side, but look for the option to clone a repository from the internet, right? So we have to clone the repository from the internet. Look out for that option, clone a repository from the internet. Okay, so I'm going to click on this option, clone a repository from the internet. So if you click on the link that Rachel has shared, it's not going to work. All right. Click on clone the repository from internet and choose URL, right? So we are going to provide the URL of our repository here in this space to clone that particular repository to our local system, right? So for me, I have a dummy repository, which I'm going to clone as well. For all of you, right, you do have the link that Rachel has shared already with you. Ensure that you copy the link correctly, meaning that there should not be any space after the group number. There should not be any space in front. Any leading or trailing space should not be there. Ensure that you have copied the right repository link. Okay. Next, you have to also specify a local path. What is this local path? Where you want to clone this repository in your local machine, right? Either you want to clone it to the desktop or you would like to clone it to any other location. So provide the location where you would like to clone your repository. Okay, so for me, I'm going to clone my repository to the desktop. So if I click on this choose, right, this file explorer opens, and then in my desktop, there is a folder called AWS. I'm going to clone my repository there. For you, you can clone it to any other location where you usually keep your files. Okay, but ensure it is easily accessible, maybe somewhere in the desktop or so. And your Jupyter Notebook should, like when you launch your Jupyter Notebook, right, that location is accessible to the Jupyter Notebook as well. All right, so for me, it's desktop AWS. Now, everybody take a note. I'll just reshare my screen once again. Okay, please take a note, everybody, that I do not have anything at the moment. So in my desktop AWS, there is nothing in this location. All right. I'm going to select this folder and hit on clone. Now, once I hit on clone, it's cloning the repository. For all of you, it will require you to provide the credentials, the username and password, right? The username and password. Provide the username and password. Ensure that you do not copy any leading or space or any trailing space or any special character for that matter. Ensure that you copy paste the right thing.
Gauri, the as a usernames and password, is it you are talking about the email that Rachel has sent us or what?
Yeah, Rachel would have sent you a link, right? The repository link and a username and a password, right?
Okay, can. Thank you.
Okay, again, I will need a confirmation from everybody that you are able to successfully clone the repository. It might take some time sometimes, but essentially what you will be able to see is that in your GitHub desktop, your current repository is going to be the repository, the group to which you are assigned to. Do not worry so much about this wave number. I know your wave is 4, but this is basically a serial number. All right, so don't worry about the wave number. Ensure that whichever group you're assigned to, you have that group number, and then you have a BCG RISE prefix to it. You will not see AWS because it's a folder that I created in my desktop, right? Yeah, so it's just a folder that I created in my desktop. Yeah, you will not see AWS.
Gauri, so the clone takes some time, is it?
Yes, the clone might take some time. Okay, I'll wait for everybody to clone this successfully.
Okay, so I will just have to wait for because now it's a something like a black box traffic like that is moving. So
Yeah.
I assume that it's cloning, right?
Yeah, it's cloning. Unless you see an error. Okay, you will see an error. When do you see an error? When you have copied an extra space for the username or the password. Then you will see an error. Now, for those who say that it's not cloning, it's probably breaking or something, then ensure that you are using the right username and password. Meaning, when you copy, right, it's very easy for us to copy an extra space and paste it. If that's the case, then you will see an error. All right, ensure that you are copying it correctly as well. Okay, so I will request everybody to retry, right? If it is failed, retry, ensure that you copy it correctly, copy the username and the password correctly. All right, without any space. Yeah, I think it's very common to see the cloning has failed.
Sorry, Corey, maybe you have to repeat from the beginning because I do not receive the link earlier from Rachel. Trying to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Can you show me like when I clone a repository and then
let me show the step again. Okay, let me delete this first. Let me delete the repository. Okay, so this page, right? Clone a repository from the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Copy the link. Right? Copy the link of the repository.
And this is where the link from Rachel. Okay.
Yes.
And then the local path I have to select somewhere.
Correct. Select desktop because it's easily accessible. Select desktop. Inside desktop, I have created one folder, AWS, to keep it separate. So for yourself, you can either create a folder or you can just keep it to desktop and then select the folder and clone. Clone, okay?
Hold on, I put it into my desktop. Just a moment.
Now, everybody, for those
clone. I'm sorry, a local path I save into my desktop and then just clone.
Yes, click on clone. It will ask for the username and password. Provide the username and the password as well.
My username is my name, right? As per normal.
No. Rachel would have shared the username and password as well.
Username and password.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to ask Rachel again.
All right.
Username and password. Okay.
All right, so you will see the username and password. Do not provide any space. Even if you try 5 times with a space, it's going to be the same thing, right? So you try to provide the username and password without any space, without a space in the front, without a space at the end. Okay, that's very important. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, for those who have issues still, I will address the questions, but maybe I'll address the questions at the end because we just have 30 more minutes and I need to like go through the working of.
I have a clone fail.
Okay, no worries. We will have a look. Otherwise, for the during the coaching session, also the trainers can help debug it. Not to worry if your clone is failing. Probably I'll spend some time at the end of the session today to ensure that everything is fine. Right? Okay. Yeah. So Bia, for you also the clone is failing, right?
Now it's okay. Now it's going to no local changes. It's moved.
Oh, super. All right. Perfect. All right. So for Karen, I will have a look later. All right. But then try to clone without the space. Just ensure that you are copying it correctly. Okay. That's the only reason where it can.
No, I just leave it there. I can't proceed, is it?
Yeah. If you cannot clone, you can't proceed. Now you just have a look. You see how the demo goes, and then probably you can try later as well.
All right.
Gauri. So the error it says that I already cloned something, so it cannot duplicate. So when I press cancel, it brings me back to let's get started. So I should restart.
Okay. In that case, what you do is you just check, right? So for example, wherever you have cloned, right? So earlier I have cloned this, that in my AWS folder, there was nothing. Now I have this repository being cloned already.
Okay. I
Okay.
saw this, yeah.
So if it is already cloned, then that's why you are getting that error. What you do is
Oh, I see. Okay.
manually go ahead and delete this folder and retry to clone. It should be okay.
Oh, but if I can see this, it does not mean that I've cloned successfully?
It does mean you have cloned successfully, but then you should be then seeing this page on your GitHub desktop, which you don't see.
Okay. So okay, let me delete and retry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is something that I wanted to share with everybody as well, that once we clone the repository, right, this folder gets created. Your group's repository or your group's folder gets created. All right. When I double click on this, inside this repository, there is going to be a default file, which is the git ignore file, which you can very well ignore it, but do not delete it. This file is the file that tracks all your changes, the work that you are doing. All right. If you don't see this file, it just means that your file is hidden, but it should be there. Okay. So not to worry if you don't see this file. It's just that it's hidden. All right. But do not delete it. If you see this file, do not go ahead and delete it. It has to be there.
Gloria, I have retried on the desktop and document path, but still fail.
Yeah, that's okay. If it's failing, so we will try to debug those errors later. For now, I'm going to demo the GitHub desktop working. You just have a look at it, and then later we are going to debug for you. All right. Okay. All right. Now on this GitHub page, right? Firstly, you are going to see your current repository. After you have successfully cloned, you will see your repository name, the group to which you belong to. And you are going to see a current branch as well, right? To which branch you are currently at. And for everybody, it is going to be the main branch. Like I said, it is the default branch that you have. All right. And this main contains all, or the main is going to contain all your final set of codes and everything. Okay. Then you will see no local changes over here. Then there is a panel to the left-hand side, which is going to contain the changes that you do, right? So whenever you create a new file, you make any changes to an existing file, everything is going to be displayed in this section. You don't see anything because we did not create anything yet. I'm going to show you like once you create a notebook, how and what is being displayed over here. Then to commit changes, you can provide a commit message in this section. You have an option to commit the changes to the main, etc., etc. All right. Now, once you are in this interface, right, the next step for us would be to create our own branch. So we are at the main branch currently, and I told you that nobody works on the main branch. Everybody creates their own branch, right? So I'm going to go ahead, click on this drop down. All right, and this is a demo, so you don't need to follow along with me now, right? Just see the steps, just try to understand the step, and then later when you really start working on your project, then you can, explore this. All right, for now it's just a demo. You don't need to like do anything with me. So the first thing is to create a new branch. So I'll click on this drop down, right, under current branch. And then I have an option to create a new branch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create a new branch. And I'm going to provide a name to this branch. Okay, now to keep things simple, I will say query. Okay, provide your name and then the task that you will be working on as well. So maybe Gauri and then EDA. All right, so I am Gauri and I'm working on EDA. So Gauri EDA is a branch that I'm creating. And ensure that your branch is being created under the main branch, right? So you are creating your branch under the main branch. So main branch is the default branch and you are creating your branch under the main branch. Then I'm going to click on create branch. Okay. Once my branch is created, you will see that the current branch now changes from main to Gauri EDA, the branch that I created. All right. My teammates will not be able to see my branch yet. I just created my branch to my GitHub desktop, right? So this is the local repository. It's not been published to the remote repository yet. Once I create my branch, I have an option to publish this branch. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this branch. Okay, once I publish this branch, then others in my team will be able to see my branch as well. Okay, so you have the option to rename your branch, you have the option to delete your branch, etc., etc. All right. Okay. Now you will notice that your current branch is the branch that you have created. You have published the branch. Other teammates can see your branch as well. Great. Now,
Sorry, can I ask, under this top branch, if you are still working on your, let's say, a Jupyter notebook or any presentation parts, and then there is some updated, do you still rename under the same name, or you create another one, the same name but with additional like 1 or 2 or something to make the team know that you are updating it?
No, I didn't quite catch that. Can you repeat?
Okay, meaning to say, if I am working on the Jupyter notebook and I'm some editing and updating, after editing, I have some updates. So why upload it in the same name file?
Yeah,
same name, or just name it as a behind additional 1 or 2?
No, allow me to share with you everything first, and then if you have any questions, I'll take it up. All right. Okay. So then you will see my Jupyter dashboard now, right? So after I have created my branch, right? So in my GitHub desktop, I am in my current branch, everybody, right? I'm in my current branch. Now I'm going to launch the Jupyter Notebook the usual way, right? How do we launch? Go to Anaconda Navigator and then launch your Jupyter Notebook. Navigate to the folder which you have cloned. So in my desktop, AWS and then BCG Rise Wave 16 Group 9 is the folder that I have cloned, right? Now I'm going to create a new Jupyter Notebook, let's say. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and then I'm going to say print. This is a test file. Okay, I'm just going to write one line of code over here. This is a test file. And also you can import any library, right? So you can import pandas as PD. You can import any library. It's the usual Jupyter Notebook, right? And whatever I'm working on, whatever I'm creating, you will notice that it is being reflected in the folder as well. So I created this untitled.ipynb file, right? So the file explorer inside this BCG Rise Wave 16 Group 9, this file gets created. Okay, I will rename this file. Okay, I will rename this file to a test file, test1. Okay, and then just save it and close it. All right. Now, what is happening is let me delete this. Okay, never mind. Let us have two files. Okay, I'll just rename this to maybe test2. Okay, so test1 do not contain anything, do not contain any code. Test2 contains my code. This is a test file. All right. Now, whatever you just now did, right? You created two files, etc. Whatever codes you have written, all of this is good. Sorry, all of this is going to be reflected in your GitHub desktop. So if you see in your GitHub desktop, in the left-hand panel section, you are going to see that two changed files. So there is a plus icon, meaning that you have created two files, right? And these are the changes that you have made to the repository. But all of this is now sitting in your local system. All of these is sitting in your local system. Others in your team will not be able to see all these files yet. All right. Now, after you have created these files, you got to push these files to the remote repository so that your teammates will be able to see these files. All right. Now, in order to do so, if you recall, we spoke about two steps. From your local repository or from your working directory, you need to commit these changes, right? You need to commit these changes to the staging area. And then from there, you need to push your files to the remote repository. These are the two steps that you need to perform. Now, to commit your changes, okay, I'll take a pause here. Isn't my screen enlarged already? Like I'm sharing a split screen. Isn't it too big already? Is it, can I check with everyone?
Gary, we're seeing two screens being fitted into the Zoom window. But
I see, then it's very small, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the issue.
Okay. Okay, let me just share one by one. Okay, give me a moment. let's focus on the GitHub desktop then. All right, let's focus on the GitHub desktop. Is it better now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, so then here 2 files are being created, right? So GitHub is notifying you that 2 files are being created. You got to commit these files to the staging area, whereby you are required to write a message. You are required to write a summary for that changes that you are committing. So for the first time that I am creating a new notebook, I will say created 2 new notebooks. Okay, and then provide a description as well so that others know what you have worked on as well. So this is the very first notebooks created for testing purposes. Okay, and then you are going to commit the 2 files, right? Commit the 2 files to Gory EDA, which is the branch that I have created. So commit the 2 files. All right. Then we are going to push to origin. After you have committing the changes, you have moved your files from your local directory to the staging area, which is the bridge, the transition. Now you have to push this to the repository so that others can see your work. Okay, yet others are not able to see your work. Then you can click on push origin, right? And the others will be able to see your work. Okay. Once you have pushed, there will be no message of push anymore. You will also see that there are no changes that are being made at the moment, right? Everything is up to date. Okay. You will also notice that if you go to the history section, right, it's going to store all the changes that are being made, right? So I have created 2 new notebooks. So this is the message I have given. It is being done by me, Gauri Chaudhary, 1 minute ago. So it's going to give me whatever, changes I have made. So it's going to provide that information in the history section. All right. Okay.
So, sorry, Gauri, Indu here.
Yeah.
So every time the team member update, we have to go and check in the history, is it? We cannot view it in
You
this.
don't have to check the history always. History is useful when there is any mistake. Your file got corrupted, right? You need to really audit trail as to who did what and what not. Then you check the history. But otherwise, anytime a person updates, right, automatically your GitHub is updated. You can just go to their branch and then you will be able to see their work.
No, but it depends, right? Like they may not be informing us through WhatsApp or anything for
But
in
then every
case. So
day you are
how?
meeting, right? Every day you are meeting, right? So you will be updated. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. So one thing that I would like to share with everyone. Okay, you will see like the GitHub desktop, and I have also opened the small little window for the file explorer, right? Now, when I am in my current branch, we are able to see 2 files that are being created, right? If I switch the branch to the main branch, can you see that there are no files at all? So main branch doesn't contain the file. Only when I switch back to Gauri EDA, these 2 files are there, meaning these 2 files are inside my branch, right? Now, if I create another branch, right? So if I create another branch, so I'll create another branch, let's say Gauri XGBoost this time. Okay, under the main branch. So ensure that you are creating your branch under the main branch. Okay, I'm still in my system. right? I'm not changing my system or anything, but based on which branch I am at, I will be able to see the notebooks accordingly. Okay, then I publish this branch so that others are able to see. Okay, and then, yeah, now you are, or sorry, now I am at Gori XGBoost, right? So then no files. I change my branch to Gori EDA and there are 2 files. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, I'll take a pause over here to see if there are any questions. Okay, yes, Teddy.
Gauri, just want to understand a little bit, like you have the copy on your local desktop or your local machine,
Yeah.
and you also have the copy in the cloud, right? Where is the staging copy? Because when you press commit, actually what's happening over here, just want to understand a little bit, because just now when you made your changes to the notebook, actually the local version was changed already, right? When you type in the print statement, actually the local version has already been changed.
Yeah.
When you click the commit, actually the cloud version is not changed yet, right? You are just clicking the commit. Actually, what does that do actually from a mechanic standpoint? Because end of the day, to publish it was the publish, right? So there's an in-between step over there. I'm not sure what that does actually. Can you explain a little bit?
To keep things very simple, right? It's basically saving, right? You are just saving it. So you are saving it inside the staging area before pushing it to the cloud.
So there's no third location. It's just your local copy and the cloud, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no third location. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
I mean, for some platforms, you do see the staging area, right? For example, in AWS itself, you can see the staging area, right? But for GitHub desktop, no, you will not be able to
This
see
setup is just 2 locations, right? Local and the cloud. Understand. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so I'll just show another, okay, maybe I'll just share with you if I edit a file, right? For example, I'm still in Gori EDA, all right? My branch is Gori EDA. And then let's say I edit a file. So earlier on, if you recall, test1 did not contain anything. And test2 contained a print statement, right? So maybe I edit test2. What I do is I add another line, print. This is another test print statement. Right, so this changes that I'm making now is local, right? It's local. I'm saving this. Okay, I save it. And then if I go back to my GitHub desktop, it's going to be reflected that you changed one file. Test2.ipynb was changed. What were the changes being made? So you added these lines. This is another test print statement. So for others to see, right, you need to first commit and push the changes. If you don't do that, others will not be able to see your newly added code. For yourself, you can edit an existing file, right? So you don't need to keep on renaming your versions or keep on renaming your files or create new copy of your file like what Karen was asking earlier. You have completed 75% of the work, fine, you push. Continue tomorrow from where you have left using the same notebook. That's absolutely fine. Okay, but whatever changes you need to make, you need to commit. So I update it. So sometimes even the messages are auto-populated. So update the test file and commit, right? After committing, still your teammates will not be able to see the changes unless you push to the origin.
Yep, 2-step lah. Commit and push. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Got it.
Okay. Great. Now, I think this is very clear, right? So you work on your branch. So if you change your branch, you will not be able to see the file. So sometimes questions are like, I just created these files, right? But I don't see it anymore. It could be because you have changed your branch, you have switched your branch. Ensure that you are in the right branch and then you will be able to see the files. Like here, for example, Gori XGBoost doesn't contain these files. Yeah.
Sorry, Glory, could you go up to the, just now you said we push already. Could you go to the main branch? So the file is on, when you put under main branch, it should come out, is it?
Oh, the main branch will still have nothing because yeah, it's in the remote repository under your branch. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Okay, there is a way to merge. I will not show the merging now. Yeah, because if I show the merging and you try to merge, whatever rough things you do on your branch is going to be copied to the main branch. I don't want that to happen as well. So I'll not show the merging part now. I think the trainers can guide you later during your working sessions to show the merging once you are done, you have finalized your codes. Yes, Rohit, you raised your hand.
Yeah, so just a technical question. So when, say, for example, you publish this,
yeah.
So all the group members can have access to that branch?
Yes. Yeah.
And make changes to that branch? Or just read access?
And yeah, no, they have access to even edit, but that's what we are saying, that do not change anything to anybody else's notebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing, if you delete anything, right? If you delete a file, so let me show you. Now I am in the main branch. Okay. Now I am at Gori EDA and I would like to delete a file, right? So if I delete test1, even that needs commit and push. Okay, it's not going to be automatically deleted completely. It's still there in the cloud repo. If you want to remove it from the cloud repo as well, you need to commit this and push these changes as well. Right. Yeah. Now the file is gone. And everything that you are doing, right, you will be able to trace it in the history. So if by mistake a person deletes a file, you know where the mistake came from as well. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes, Carol.
Gori, so we see the current branch and everybody can see. So theoretically, if let's say my group members has actually created the so-called as branch, over here, under my current branch or whatever is it now, I can see my teammates so-called as creation, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's because you are the only one who created it. For example, that some my team members has actually created it inside here. They will also be able to see. So in theory, is that means is I can see my teammate plus my own self and the main branch on that, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So with that, I think yeah.
So sorry, Gauri. And if the file is deleted, can we bring that back? Like, for example, if I deleted by my team members.
You can. I think the trainers will be there to guide you as well. If at all there is a situation arises, you can. And that's the whole purpose, right? You can always roll back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with that, let's talk about few of the best practices, especially when we are performing coding, something that we need to like abide by. Okay, so first is make incremental small changes. So what happens usually is that we have a tendency to maybe work on everything together. So we think that, okay, let me complete this and then maybe I'll push. Don't do that, right? Even if you are making any small changes, ensure that you are pushing regularly so that you don't lose out your work, right? So that others are updated about what you are doing as well, because this is a group project. Don't push anything straight to the master, branch it out. I think I have talked about it a lot of times. And do not try to directly edit on or work on anybody else's Jupyter notebook in their branch. Don't do that. All right. Simply copy paste their notebook if need be. All right. Okay, I've spoken about the commit part. While you are coding, very lucrative to use ChatGPT. We will be using it. We all are using it. And that's where the world is going, perfectly fine. But understand what is happening, right? For your own understanding, for the trainer's understanding, provide useful comments to your codes that you are writing. Because what happens is you are copy pasting a code from ChatGPT, right? Then you call a trainer. This is where I'm stuck at. Now it's very difficult for the trainer to go back and trace each and everything that you have worked on. Yeah, so it's very difficult, right? And we are sitting on the other side of things. We are looking at everybody's work. And it could be a potential issue with a logical error maybe, right? Which is going to be very difficult to debug. So whenever you are putting in anything, ensure that you understand what is happening as well. Chances are sometimes, because ChatGPT is an LLM, right? It can give you any code. It can give you some import. It can give you libraries that are very heavy. And when you try to import them, you have import fail error. Your other things that you are running probably comes down, etc., etc. There can be a number of things that can happen, right? So be very specific about the prompts that you are using as well. So we have these probably algorithms in place that I want to use. So provide me code based on that only. Yeah. Then your commit should have description as well, right? Your commit messages should have description, because otherwise you will be clueless, because you will be doing so many things. You will be making lots of commit and pushes, but it will be very difficult to trace back if you don't have a description to it. Okay. And then it's always a good practice to break your code. So don't think that you have to submit one single Jupyter notebook. No, that's not the case. EDA, separate Jupyter notebook. K-means, separate Jupyter notebook. RFM, separate Jupyter notebook. Not everything needs to go into one Jupyter notebook. All right. So that's something that you take note of. And these are some of the best practices that I would like to share. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of today's session, right? I'm going to stay back to debug the issues that some of you are having, right? But I'll give 2 more minutes to just quickly check if there are any questions on my sharing. How the sessions will be conducted, right? The trainers are going to come in during the coaching sessions. Be prepared to show them what you have done. Be prepared to share with your next steps, etc. as well, and ask any questions during that coaching session period. Then the afternoon sessions are going to be your working session, where there will be no trainers. You have to work on your project by yourself. Next day again, you have a coaching session whereby you can communicate with the trainers and understand and debug any issues that are there as well. Okay, great. So I'll stop my screen share. Yeah, over to you.
Can I just check? Because in our project, right, other than the codings that we need to do, there's still like presentation and Power BI that we are also working on. So can I understand GitHub? Is it only for code sharing?
Yes, GitHub is only for code sharing. I mean, okay, if you want to upload Power BI also, you can, not a problem. Okay, just let Rachel know that you have uploaded the Power BI as well to GitHub, and then probably then you don't need to submit it to her. But usually it is for the code. Yeah.
Gauri, question on that is, we have just now we have the screens up there, like just what you have, right? So when we complete the things up there, we just shut down the whole thing on the GitHubs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no lock off or something like that.
Nothing. Yeah, it's an application, so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So Gauri, you haven't shown us like the person who is doing the merging. What will he or she
Correct.
see?
So that's on purpose. We will not show the merging now. Maybe
later on.
Later the trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gauri,
yes.
I finally managed to clone. It took very long. So I reached the page where it said no local changes. Because I think you skipped that. I missed that. So is that correct already?
Maybe you share your screen once later. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So for those who do not have any questions, please feel free to drop off. I'll spend another 15 minutes time to ensure that everybody is on track with the GitHub desktop. Yeah, you are good.
Okay. It took a super long time, like since you started until the end. Then is it also have to do with because my path is too long?
Not really because of the path. Usually it is because of the internet, because now video is on Zoom.
I see.
And it's cloning from the cloud, right? So it's all about internet. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Gauri, for mine is a clone fail.
Yeah. Okay. For those who do not have questions, please feel free to drop off, have a good lunch. For those who have questions on the GitHub part, please stay back and we can debug one by one.
Let me show my screen then. Do I retry the clone or what? Cancel.
Yeah, cancel first. Yep, create, okay, clone. Yeah, go through the step again and show me how you're copying your credentials.
I create a new repository or clone first?
Clone. Second option, clone the repository.
Clone. And
yeah, your repository name.
My name, right?
Your repository link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I click on the link. I just copy the link over, right?
Yes, you have to copy paste the link.
Like this one. Okay, this folder contains file. It can only clone to empty folders.
Correct. So you already have this folder, right?
Yeah. So I choose the one.
Wait, hang on. Can you go to your file explorer? Can you go to your desktop? So can you see this file? This is already cloned, right?
Yeah.
This is already cloned, right?
This
you
one.
delete.
Yeah.
Delete. Right.
Then
can you
this
delete
is
this?
Yeah, this is where it is, right? This is what given by Rachel. Then this is my clone already.
Okay, you got to delete this folder. Can you delete
Which one?
This BCG Rise, because it's already saying that it is being cloned, right? And then inside that you are trying to clone again. So first you delete this folder.
The first one or the second one?
Can you see my screen annotation? Yeah, this one. Yeah, delete it. Perfect. All right, now, okay, choose the desktop, right? For you now, the BCG Rise Wave 16 has been chosen. Choose desktop. Yeah, select folder.
What is the folder? I create a folder name.
Just click on select folder. You are in the desktop already. Can you remove this BCG Rise Wave 16 Groove 8 from the after desktop?
Okay, my desktop. I don't see anything.
Scroll down. You have an option select. How about you pass the control to me?
In my desktop, I don't see anything.
Yeah, you pass the control to me.
Okay, approve.
Okay, why this BCG Rise is coming?
No,
okay, yeah. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's create one different folder. So inside desktop, maybe we create a folder. Folder. Okay, I'll just call it GitHub. Yeah.
BCG. Better write the BCG, then I know.
Okay. Right, BCG.